This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Good night, everybody, and thanks for joining with us. Joining us, not with us. We're already here.
A good job by J.J. McCarthy. The handoff. Alec Menace is going to throw a pick. They give it to Corum. Up back. Corum. Touchdown, Wolverine. Roman Wilson does it again. Hill finds some daylight. He's got some speed and some blocker. Outside, turns the corner. Blake Corum down the sideline. Looking over the middle. Caught. Touchdown, Wolverine. McCarthy extends the play, now using legs. McCarthy a first down.
Are we on?
The effects didn't work. Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Everything going wrong, as it always does. One of these days, I'll get actual proper equipment, and we'll make this work properly. Tonight's episode, we have potentially drama. Something always happens. Mac and Justin will probably get in an argument. Otherwise, we have the Big Ten Brady Bunch back. We have a full house to talk about Week 11 of the Pigskin Showdown. We also have a couple of questions about, what do we got? We're going to talk about Lincoln Riley, and we're going to talk about James Franklin. We want to know what's going on over there. All of this coming up right here on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show with expert trash talk and unrivaled analysis. I'm your host, Cliff. With me, as always, is Mac. Mac, how are you doing over there?
I'm good. Something important's going on tomorrow. I can't remember what it is though. I can't I need to go do something.
Do you?
And it has some sort of like national importance to it.
Oh, the CFP's coming out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's the only important thing going on a national level tomorrow.
Exactly. It's the only thing we really need to know about.
That's the only thing you really need to know about. That's, the CFP is coming out tomorrow. Where's Indiana? Top 5? We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. I forgot to ask, do we still have a sponsor this week?
Crap.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Yeah,
We're already taking it. Okay.
We do. I just got to remember what the thing was.
Just got to remember what it was.
Yeah.
All right. How about we do this? Should we bring on our guests and see how they're doing?
Yeah, go ahead. Bring them on.
All right, let's do that because we got some announcements to make here. Or at least some people have some announcements to make. So let's start with Garrison. Garrison, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, guys. I'm doing fine. It's a real dark day here in the Midwest, man. I always forget I live here, and it's a great summer out here. Then winter's coming, and you can feel it in the air.
And you're just.
But no,
sad.
I'm doing very happy. The Buckeyes are doing their thing, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy. And but yeah, you can find us. But real good. But yeah, you can find me at Buckeye_Gaddy. Also on the Scarlet and Blue Show at Scarlet Blue Show on X, and my best friend in Michigan teammate or co-host. I want to say teammate. Bryce at Bryce R. Sack, and then I can announce it now. So in a couple weeks, in 3 weeks actually, you can also find me on the Voice of College Football Ohio State. So
excellent. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. I was excited to hear about that. Yeah. We've got virtually we got a whole Voice of College Football thing going on here.
Yeah, you guys do.
We are the Voice of College Football's little brother. Little brother.
little baby brother.
Yes.
Let's go over to Ben here. Ben's one of our new guys. Ben, who runs the
heavy is the head that wears the crown of college football.
Oh man,
I like
this
it.
guy.
So burdensome.
Your Highness,
very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence, my lord.
With my principal crown.
That explains the cakewalk of the rest of your season. They'll let them eat cake, crown, cakewalk.
Hey,
come on! I thought this was supposed to be the Big Ten. This is making the Pac-12 look like a gauntlet in the past.
Oh, no.
What is this?
What? Because you guys decided to all of a sudden get good? Shut up!
How dare you? How dare you?
Big Daddy Phil, man.
Everybody.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Just Ben, exploring Ben and Santa on YouTube, and Voice of College Football's org, and channel host and post-game guy, and CFB After Dark on Sundays. Nice. So once again, another Voice of College Football.
Yeah.
Just invading your space.
That's right. We invited you guys on.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to do. Let's go to our Buckeyes battle cry, guys. I'm going to bring them both on at once. We've got Peter and Rob from Buckeyes battle cry. You guys had a big video over the weekend. How you doing?
Doing great. Enjoy going to Happy Valley, seeing the Buckeyes get it done. 188 rushing yards against a top 10 rushing defense.
Can you say it again, Rob? Can you say it again, please? So for the people in the back.
188 rushing yards against a top 10 defense. And Donovan Jackson said it perfectly. Let's drop, and they did.
Demonetized.
Just right. Oh, the first 5 minutes. Right. Yeah.
Oh, he said nuts.
Buckeyes, poisonous nuts. Oh,
Peter,
demonetized again.
Where can everybody find you guys? Give some details.
Oh, you can find me on TikTok at Buckeye Rob 13, on Peter and on his YouTube channel Buckeyes.
Yep. And we're getting the Instagram running again. I actually kind of took initiative and decided to make that active again. So Buckeyes Battle Cry, Buckeyes.Battlecry on Instagram. That's an active account. Facebook, Buckeyes Battle Cry. YouTube, Buckeyes Battle Cry. And TikTok, Buckeyes Battle Cry. My gosh, I need a life, not online.
All right. Last but not least, actually, speaking of getting a life, we've got Justin, who has got to be one of the hardest working guys in YouTube college football. Justin, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I was doing great before I got bullied my first 30 seconds after I hopped on. But I like how everybody else can come out and talk trash about how their team did this weekend, and my team, of course, did not do anything that I can speak of. So I'm gonna roast Ben for your Burger King crown.
Yeah,
maybe
no,
if you figure out
that's the prince's crown, correct? Not the king, the prince.
It's a printable crown.
If Oregon
can go to Burger King for that.
Here's what Oregon needs to try to do is finish the season #1, and you can get a real one. That's the trick. That's what we need to see Oregon do. We've seen this before. So
there's no October national titles.
I would also like to see Nebraska actually go bowling for once.
I would like to see Nebraska win a game against somebody not named Colorado or Purdue. That's what I would
That win is looking different now, though.
I mean, Colorado's feasting on a weak Big 12 that is way worse than we thought it was going to be, to be honest. I'm not even going to gas that win up.
You got a ranked win, buddy.
It's been rough, bro. It's been rough. That doesn't count, bro. They weren't ranked when we played them. But yeah, you can find me over at Nebraska Football at the Voice of College Football to complete the Voice of College Football panel here, and Big Ten Show on YouTube and X over on X at _H-Town Husker. I forgot it for a second, but
we need somebody in Justin's row. He's by himself.
Yeah, no, he's just by himself. I could move him over there, and I could be by myself.
Like,
it's my show.
Pop Mac down here. Mac don't want these hands though.
All right, here we go.
Bring it on.
Put him next to me, bro. Oh, I'm punching you now.
Oh wait, yeah. Here we go. There. Take your shots.
Oh wait, there we go.
Okay, Mac, do you have the ad read?
What was that? Yeah, it was that karate, bro.
I'm grabbing my hat and deflecting your shot.
That's okay.
You can do that.
Not as good as Michigan's defense.
That's fair. No, he's right. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, exactly. Mac,
Garrison got that one.
I got it. Yeah,
you got it. Okay, everybody.
I got it.
Mac is going to read something.
At OnlyFans at Huss My Corn too. Sorry.
I need a bleep button. Where is it?
I got you.
I got nothing over here.
Oops, that's not the right one. Where's my bleep button?
Oh,
we are so demonetized.
We're so demonetized.
Where's my bleep?
Tonight's Big Ten Team Rivalry Show brought to you by OnlyFans.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Well, see you guys.
All right, Mac.
No show.
Yeah.
Go for it.
My wife's gonna love that this is when we decide to do the ad read, but deal's a deal.
Or engagement farming, trying to get views to it. This is the part people are going to watch.
You're going to upload this clip, correct?
No, maybe. I don't know. All right. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, listen up. So you can discover the perfect gifts this holiday season at Honey & Co. Market. Their exquisite room sprays bring festive scents to life, creating the perfect atmosphere for you and your family to enjoy the holidays together. You can choose from a range of delightful fragrances that add a special touch to every room. They make great gifts. So guys, if you're looking for stocking stuffers or something special for your wife or girlfriend, they got you. Shop now at honeyandcomarket.com.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Well pronounced, even.
Why are you shaking your head?
Yeah.
I don't have a girlfriend or wife, so I'm disappointed in myself.
You should be. Tinder. Get on Tinder.
Bumble?
No.
OnlyFans?
Yeah.
No. Well, maybe. It depends.
What kind of girlfriend do I want?
Dude,
I'm just saying this. I met my wife on Tinder, and I totally hit a home run. So it can work.
She is. She's wonderful.
She is.
You got that hair.
My girlfriend watches this live, and if she keeps hearing you guys say it, I'm like, oh God.
I could make it worse, but I will not say anything.
Garrison, we don't believe you have a girlfriend. You've not been on dates. We don't believe you. There's no pics or it didn't happen. So
I met her on Hinge.
That's where I met my wife.
Right.
I met my wife on Hinge too.
Oh, wow. Snap. All
Dude,
right. That's awesome.
What the hell?
Download Hinge live during the show and do matches. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
deleted Bumble and Tinder, man. It was
There you
wild.
go.
I met my wife on Onward. It's a Christian dating app.
Onward.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Onward.
Farmers Only for me was my first.
Bumble is scary. Anyway, good night.
Let's leave it.
Speaking
in.
of
Let's
scary,
leave it in that.
all right. Before we get into our topics, I gotta ask Garrison a question here. Garrison, you ever going on Maze Madman again?
Oh, for sure. Oh,
Yeah?
for sure. No, I was actually while I was waiting for the 4 minutes to drop by, I was just listening to them real quick because they're live right now. And like Garrison pop in, I'm like, I can't right now. But no, man, y'all listen. I love the passion of everybody's fan base. I just listen. I was gonna be all fun and joy and ask real questions, but when you start talking about Woody Hayes and you start talking about how he punched a Clemson player and you start trying to demonize him. Oh,
Yeah.
no. After and then you say take down the statue. Oh, now it's time to go full fire, hellfire and brimstone on Bo Schembechler. And that's all.
That's a bag you can draw a lot from.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
it
that one
is.
actually, Mac and I did a show on that one too. There's a lot going on there. It's a little bit more than what's been reported. I dug into some of the documents and all of that, the court stuff, and it's I don't know. There's
Don't
there's
get
other things going on
demonetized
there.
again.
I'll tell
for
you
I
what,
won't
bringing
get
that one up.
demonetized there, but yeah,
like
I thought
I
that
said-
was crazy. I mean, I know Woody was known for his temper, but certainly not enough to where you would take down a statue. And then Bo loved him, so.
Listen, like I said, there's nothing worse than a Michigan-born Buckeye because there's nothing I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it all.
Garrison, I love you for that, and I am too.
It was an
It's
intense
a Buckeye.
episode. I was cringing there for a bit.
Man,
I was
dude, I
born
was
in Ann
confused.
Arbor.
Yeah. Oh no, they were
Confused.
they were going crazy on you. But
I had
all
to
right,
move
guys,
sections, by the way.
you had to move
At
sections.
the Oregon-Michigan game, I had to move sections. Somebody growled at me.
Oh, come on.
You were wearing Ohio State stuff, right?
Not at that point.
Not at that point. Okay.
Not at that point because they scared you. You had to take it off.
Dude,
I covered up and then I moved. I said, you know what? It's getting a little hostile, and I just got growled at by a drunk dude. Growled.
This is why. That's why I thought selling alcohol at college games is the dumbest thing ever. Like that's a horrible idea.
I found a genteel old man that I could take, and he was super nice.
There you go.
Dude, hey,
I was
man,
gonna- I was gonna ask-
go to Ohio State, man. They have a whole Coors Light section. It's awesome.
Oh,
I was
well, I
gonna
mean, if you're gonna sell alcohol,
Still
could you make
wrong.
it good alcohol? Jeez.
Ooh,
We
yeah,
still
right.
don't sell
Bush.
alcohol in our stadium.
Hey, when the mountains are blue.
Shout out Texas Tech. They had some good beer selection.
There you go.
We were literally
there you go,
we
Em.
just got it approved for alcohol in our stadiums this year. So
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Michigan was this year too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think ours goes into effect next year. So
The
I
one
could be
place
excited
I was
this year.
hoping it didn't get approved was East Lansing. disgusting. That place, those
Whoa,
It's
whoa, whoa,
crazy up
whoa,
there.
whoa,
Whoa.
Some,
whoa, whoa.
some ungodly
They
things happen at that college.
Now they can burn
What
even
about
more
Eastern
couches.
Michigan?
Oh, don't get me started on
th-
Eastern Michigan.
Brian Nearson, the
Okay.
great turf, baby.
That's
Please
like
don't.
talking about
Nobody-
Western.
Nobody wants to hear him rant about Eastern Michigan.
No,
I know.
you're right.
That's
Or
crazy.
Nebraska.
That was I
Yeah,
started.
I don't want to hear him rant about Nebraska either. That's only I'm allowed to do
East
that.
Nebraska.
I started at Western
All of
Michigan
it.
in 2014,
Now.
and the first professor that I had talked about how MTV came to Kalamazoo, and the MTV has their rankings of like the drunkest campuses. Western Michigan didn't make the list because they were so far and away drunker than everyone else that it wasn't fair. So they just said Western's on their own league,
How do you quantify
and
that?
here's like the
Listen,
next 10.
Yeah,
I don't
concur.
know.
I don't.
I can
I don't know
concur.
if I'm buying
There's
Yeah.
this show called College PD, and I think Western ended up on there. It's like the
That-
college
yeah.
But
version
sheer
of Cobb.
volume, it's a smaller college.
Hey,
I don't know.
Ipswich,
I don't-
Tucky.
Justin, I'm trying to tell you, man. It goes down in the zoo. It goes
It does.
down.
It gets insane. Like riot police get involved on game days sometimes. I got
Wow.
caught up in that. The
Well, I feel
Michigan
like-
State came to town one year, and a friend of mine got me to go tailgating over next to Waldo in the parking lot over there, and everybody is just. I mean, everybody's gone. Everybody is obliterated out of their minds. Like it was like I had people getting in my face saying FMSU, FMSU. And I'm just like, all right, calm down.
I
All
think
right.
it just sounds like a bunch of shitty people go there, and the alcohol brings it out of them.
Well,
That's
I'll
what
put
it
it
sounds
this
like.
way.
There's
Yeah.
a case to be made for that, Justin.
I'll put it this way.
Dad, please remember I went there and I'm your son.
I grew up in Ann Arbor where they used to have I can't say that what they used to have, the mile that was not
The
closed.
Naked Mile.
Yeah, that one. They also did that, and Western Michigan had a worse reputation for partying. Okay.
Yep.
And Ipswich Tucky is right next door. It gets
Yeah.
lucky in Ipsy Tucky, but you don't drink because no one goes to the football games.
Hey, dude, you ever gone to Indiana's Little Five?
No,
You ever heard of it?
I went to school in Marion, but no, I don't know.
They, like professors cancel classes. It's nothing but a drunk campus for a whole week. It's the greatest thing ever.
Wow, I can't imagine.
That's higher education right there.
Should we talk about football or something?
Yeah, we should.
Man.
Cliff, get a hold of this thing.
Our first question has to do with Lincoln Riley at USC.
Oh yeah.
Is Lincoln Riley done at USC? Here's what I've got. Here's the article from Sports Illustrated, that magazine that used to talk about sports. The USC Trojans lost to the Washington Huskies, marking their fifth loss
right
of the
there.
season and remaining winless on the road. This is the second consecutive season with at least 5 losses under Lincoln Riley. USC's offense showed some momentum in the second half with a notable performance from Woody Marks and Zachariah Branch. However, turnovers and missed opportunities led to their defeat. Lincoln Riley acknowledged the team's missed chances and the high expectations set when he was hired. The Trojans are now fighting for bowl eligibility with 3 games left, not unlike Washington and Michigan. But Lincoln Riley was supposed to save USC. Is he done at USC? I thought I saw him do a press conference where he said he just didn't care what anybody said. But what do you guys think?
I think he's done at USC. So when Stoops he retired from being the coach at Oklahoma football. I don't know if he retired or he got fired, but he was out. But when Lincoln Riley took over, he led them in the playoffs for like 4 consecutive seasons. Ended up getting blowout each time, but you had 4 consecutive Big 12 championships. I'm like, he was able to take them to a level where Mark Stoops was having trouble for a while. So I'm like, okay, he's a pretty good coach. And then, he went to USC. He left after saying that Oklahoma was pretty much a destination team where, everybody wanted to be. And then you leave for USC, that day or the next day, then you pretty much say the same thing at your press conference being introduced as the head football coach. But so his first year, he's doing good, and that's when Oklahoma was on a down year. And I admit I was wrong for getting into it. Oklahoma fans were saying like, Lincoln Riley's a fraud, and especially after they lost to Utah, like, oh, good old Lincoln Riley going back to Oklahoma form. And I'm like, you guys are just mad that you're on a down year. And then like they get blown out. They get blown out in Utah against Utah in the Pac-12 championship game. And then they have another down year and another down year. And I'm starting to think, Lincoln Riley took over an already built up Oklahoma program. I think a good amount of coaches could have taken that team to where he did. And just like he went to a USC program who is extremely down his luck, and he's just not good at rebuilding teams. He's lucky that Caleb
can't do it. He won't do it anymore anywhere else.
He's lucky. He's lucky that Caleb Williams went with him to USC. He's lucky that he got Jordan Addison. But other than that, like he's just not the guy to rebuild that program. I think he's done after this season.
I have to a little rebut one. USC sucks. I hate USC. They can actually tank, and I would give two craps because they helped wreck a conference.
They have tanked.
But yeah, Lincoln Riley literally is owed. People estimate $80 million for a buyout, and actually people have said it's probably more. USC tanked
80 million?
80 million or more to a buyout. They tanked themselves for probably a decade if they go that route. They're stuck with him. They are, unless he does something for cause, they're stuck with his ass. And yes, exactly as you said, if it wasn't for Caleb Williams just performing absolute miracles on the field, this team would have been even worse. But shout out to Utah. Lincoln Riley is 0-3, 2 against a broken quarterback now and a pig farmer. So shout out to Utah.
Yeah, I guess if anybody else go next. All right, I'll take it from here.
Well, actually, Justin,
I'll take it.
Go ahead. I wanted to let everybody like get their piece out. But one of the biggest things that in listening to watching him play, listening to Lincoln Riley and stuff like that, there's a disconnect with Lincoln Riley. And I think there is a path to this being potentially fixable for USC, because if it was, it's due to their buyout and them having no opportunity to have a chance to get rid of him. But what it needs to do is it needs to start at the top. And I think what somebody needs to do is really force his hand and have him step away from the play sheet. Because right now what we're seeing a lot is execution issues and mental lapses. We're seeing Miller Moss, who was supposed to be able to come in and, be efficient. He's not near as athletic as Caleb Williams, but he's going to be efficient. He's supposed to be efficient. He's not coaching him out of his mistakes. He needs to be kind of working with him and coaching him out of his mistakes and correcting some of these things. It seems like these lapses continue. His wide receivers dropping passes left and right. You saw it throughout that entirety of that game. They had a good drive there coming out of the, early in the third quarter. I think it was the first drive of the second half, I believe. But you're going against a Washington team that has a really good pass defense and a below average run defense, and you throw the ball 50 times with Miller Moss. You know what I'm saying? And on a day where your running backs are having success and efficiency, they scored 7 points in the first half. That's it. Like I said, Miller Moss was bad. He's just been so inconsistent. But the thing is, for Lincoln Riley to do that, he has to change who he is and learn. And like he finally has a defense, right? But he doesn't know how to lean into his defense. He doesn't know how to really kind of say, okay, I can get behind my run game and I don't have to constantly get explosive play after explosive play. I can kind of put some drives together, work on putting some drives together. And now I have somewhat of a defense, somewhat of a physical defense that is able to stop people now, as opposed to last year, a little bit more than they were last year. He can turn to that, and he hasn't. It just seems like there's no mental change in him. It's very much like he's a one-track mind type of guy, and I do think that he needs to give up the play calling. They need to get somebody in here who can focus on that, and then he can focus on the execution and some of the lapses they're having there. But I know firing them is the thing that everybody wants, but I think USC is also, just financial wise, they're going to try to find a way to fix this without doing that. So that was my question of how they do this. And that's one of the biggest frustration points is it's just like you have a coach with an ego like this that we haven't seen that has the ability to lose that. And now you might have friction at the top between, the guys at the top and him, who they may have just given him the keys and been like, here you go. Now you're in a tough situation for sure.
Well, and counterpoint to that, I think Cohen, the new AD, she's going to have to push her hand a little bit, I think, because if you want to say Lincoln Riley needs to change his mindset, after that press game, he said also, or in the presser, he said, we're like 6-7 plays away from being undefeated.
Yeah, which is
exactly boneheaded. But it took him about between Oklahoma and USC about 5-6 years to get rid of Grinch.
Yep.
So USC has a few more years to go before Lincoln Riley.
That was the biggest thing that kind of is indicative of is he going to be able to make is just Alex Grinch stuck with him for so damn long after and it's just.
Here's the thing. Alex Grinch is terrible. He spent one season in Columbus. Urban said, get bent. Ryan Day said, get bent, get out of here, bro. And he did. He packed his bags and he left Columbus after one season. Yeah. And then Lincoln Riley said, I like what I saw from that defense.
Yep. And sorry, one thing. I just want to give credit to my boy, Mark Culkin from Locked On USC. He's the one that kind of I saw his post about leaning into the defense, so I want to give credit on that point to him. Sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Here are my USC memories of my lifetime. The Bush push versus Notre Dame. Hated it. Every second of it, I hated it. USC's Matt Barkley leading a 98-yard drive in the horseshoe in 2009 for a victory. 2008, butt fumble Mark Sanchez put up 38 on a proud Ohio State Big Ten champion Fiesta Bowl last-second loss to Texas losing team, Big Ten champion, 38-3 without Beanie Wells that day. The worst loss of my Buckeye fandom was that one. It was not Clemson, 31-0. It was USC, 38-3. That's the worst loss I've ever experienced.
Must be nice.
No,
yeah, that was bad. That was real bad.
I think I'm kind of Justin, where I think his inability to change is what has him in this situation right now. I think Lincoln Riley's kind of lost in what his identity is. I remember having arguments with a friend of mine who's an Oklahoma fan. Like, people were saying that Lincoln Riley was better than Ryan Day, and I was vehemently disagreeing with that. And as we fast forward now, I mean, you see that when he doesn't have, and it's not that I don't think he's a great offensive mind, but like if I'm just comparing him to Ryan Day has changed his offense in 5 years 3 different times. He had his offense with Justin Fields, which was more of a it was very run heavy, deep passes. Mm-hmm. And we ran the ball a lot that year, but with JK specifically and Master Teague. Then you come into the CJ Stroud era where he passes the ball a lot, and we kind of still try to do that with Cal McCord. And now you see the offense that we have now. Ryan Day has the ability he's like a chameleon. He can change any different way with his offense. He has that ability, and he fires people with no care. He fires people. I think with Lincoln Riley, man, he's trying to figure out how to win without a Heisman level quarterback. I think his offense needs it.
Yeah.
I also think he needs to get rid of that calling the plays. I think he's he's so confident in himself, and maybe it's cockiness, maybe it is.
Garrison.
But I don't think. What's up?
What did Ryan Day do? He hired a defense. Mm-hmm. He got better on special teams. Well, how good were special teams versus Ohio State, Garrison? Or versus Penn State?
Oh, beautiful.
Our special teams have been trash under Day and Urban.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Jim Tressel was the best special teams coach I've ever seen.
And Urban was our special teams coach.
Yeah, he was terrible.
Well, Michigan should probably take note about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think, like I said, I think Lincoln Riley is a really good coach. I think he's a really good head coach. But I think in order for him to succeed, he needs to find a way to change his offense. And And yeah, like he should be leaning on his defense, but I don't think he knows how to. Whereas like last, I compare him a lot to Ryan did because they came in the same type of way as really big offensive minds. And I mean, we saw last year Ryan Day found a way to lean on his defense, and even with the so-so offense for Ohio State, it got us to 11 wins. So
when does a coach know to change their process though? Because like think about it, like everybody's like
realize it.
When a mentor like Chip Kelly comes in and says,
no, I mean, Ryan Day
you better
said,
change or you're going to get fired from Ohio State. Chip Kelly told him.
Even then, it's I think it's just a matter of like, okay, like self-awareness. Do these guys like ever at some point get the ego to let somebody else have some input on their performance? Because a lot of these guys, you know, at the top, especially at the top of the college football world, they have really just lived on everybody wants me, throw money at me, like I'm your guy, that type of thing. And, you know, somebody who, you know, let's say it's somebody who hasn't been fired, you know, who's just upgraded jobs because they got more money thrown at them. Like they've never been shown like a lot of failure in their recent, you know, times or whatever. And so like you get a lot of these guys who are just like, this is what's worked for me. Like think about if you've been doing a job for a while and you got all these new young bucks coming in, but you got a guy like Lincoln Riley, who is a young buck, but he's still saying this works for me and this is going to work no matter what. But the problem is I think he might have got his own ego inflated by a circumstance that made him somewhat look better than he actually was. And that's the part you run into when the ego gets conflated with production, when, you know, like you haven't done it consistently long enough to know that your track record is like, okay, this works no matter what, you know.
He's got to do what Ryan Day says, dude. It's either the scheme, the coaching, or the players. It's either one of those three, or it's multiple. And right now, it seems like it's scheme or coaching.
Yeah, I think it is that what you were saying. I think Lincoln Riley. So there was another I heard earlier. Is like I think he got him so inflated by having success, even though because he made it to the playoffs, even though they got blown out, he made it to the playoffs. Got this big contract, and it worked that first year. Caleb Williams. Next year, though, downgrade. This year. But then you look up north, and this is not a homerism thing. Dan Lanning and Lincoln Riley got hired at the same time. Dan Lanning has a much better record. And what have I seen from Dan Lanning in over 3 years? He's adjusted and changed his philosophy and approach to the game, where Lincoln Riley just does the same damn thing. Like you said, throwing 50 times against one of the better pass defenses and then in rain.
That's stubborn, stiff-necked.
And to Dan Lanning, like to look at that point, just look at the development. Like the first couple of weeks of the season, that offensive line was terrible, and look at the movement he made around that offensive line, and look how he adjusted, you know, certain things within that offensive line, within that unit, and look how their offensive line has been playing the last few weeks. You know, against Ohio State, had one of their best games. You know, so that shows coaching right there. Lincoln Riley kind of is just a crapshoot on what we get per, like each week. I feel like I come on here and I predict USC games, trying to predict, are they going to commit penalties? Are they going to hurt themselves? You know, are they going to drop balls? That's why it's so hard for me to pick USC week in and week out. If they are consistent and they execute, they'll be fine, you know, but they don't.
Here's an underrated trait of coaches: humility.
Yep.
The ability to be self-aware and humble yourself to say, I don't know everything. I don't. Yep. There are better defensive-minded coaches than Ryan Day. There are lots of them, actually.
Yep.
That's a difficult thing to do as a head coach, though. You're talking about competing at an extremely high level. I mean, these guys are as intense as anybody can be.
Urban's a psycho.
It almost like it shows a weakness if they come back and say, if they show any of that humility. And I know that, Harbaugh was somewhat touted for that because, in the post game, he would be like, no, this is the guy you want to talk to over here. And Ryan Day talks up his team and they do that. But these guys are competing at such a high level. I almost think it's difficult for them to come back down and show any of that humility.
You hire experts for a reason. Why are you paying them? If they're not there to help you, if they're not there to advise you, that's one of the things I do appreciate about Matt Rule is he will own it, right? And when it comes to certain things, talking about like last year when he was talking about the turnovers, he came out and admitted, he said, I'd never been in a situation like that where I'd seen a ball being turned over that much. He's like, I honestly was lost at what to do. And he talked to Ron Brown, who's been a part, Ron Brown's been around Nebraska football for years, 40 plus years. And Ron Brown told him he wasn't coaching it hard enough. And he came out in a press conference and talked about how Ron Brown helped him coaching turnovers and how they got better as the season went along. And like, but that's the humility you need. Like, you realize that, like, okay, there's people that have been in this program much longer than I have. I'm brand new to this program. And I think that's where Matt Rule respects the program, and he puts that over his ego. And I think that's what a lot of coaches need to look at it as. I'm here to build this program, and the people around me want what's best for me, right? And if they're coming at me in a way where it's not disrespectful, or they're not putting me down, and they're just giving me who is anyone to deny any kind of advice and not at least take it and analyze it, and look at themselves in the mirror and be like, maybe they're onto something here. That is a sign of a coach that's not going to develop, and that's a sign of a bad coach. I promise you, a lot of these coaches that have won national championships, Kirby Smarts and all those of the world, I guarantee you they have had that humility at some point.
That's why I'm always shocked when like people in positions like that are let their egos get a hold of them and start making really stupid decisions like that, because the rest of us from the outside looking in can be like, you threw 50 times in a game against one of the better pass defenses in the country. Of course you lost. Miller Moss isn't Caleb Williams, and you forced him into that type of position. Of course you lost. I mean, Miller Moss, USC doesn't need a Caleb Williams type quarterback every single year to be successful. They just need a coach that's willing to see that and adjust his strategy, like you're saying, Justin Garrison. Lean on the defense, lean on the running game a little bit more. And I think that's something that he's really going to need to open his eyes to that, because it's going to be kind of a baptism by fire situation. It already has their first year in the Big Ten, where most of the teams in the Big Ten are totally fine running the ball as much as they need to wear down your defense. So, not a lot of teams in the Big Ten are going to throw for, 40 times a game, let alone 50. So at some point he's going to have to learn to play complementary football in this conference if he wants to be successful. I feel like right now, and I from a Big Ten fan looking at the Pac-12, it looked a lot like they were just trying to outscore each other every game, and the only point of defense was to maybe you got the tackle, maybe you didn't, but at least just make them take longer to score than you take. And if they do score, then I don't know, hopefully it's just a field goal or something like that. But that's why the games from the Pac-12 were always in the 40s, 50s, whereas games in the Big Ten are 20s and 30s, sometimes 40s.
One last point about history. I'm sorry, I'm a history buff. Ray Malaluga was on that 2008 defense, okay? Brian Rubisky, Brian Hartline, Terrell Pryor, Beanie Wells, Brandon Sane, Todd Beckman was on that 2008 offense. We scored 3 points on the Trojans that night.
I ain't heard some of those names in a minute. That's great.
3 points, bro.
Yeah.
On that defense. Yeah. USC, Pete Carroll said, bye-bye to sanctions. I'm going to the NFL and staying there forever. But that they used to play defense in the Pac-12. Reggie Bush's defenses were great. They had Brian Cushing, etc.
Fair enough. Chip Kelly destroyed the Pac-12 play defense with the blow off with the blow
Scott
off.
Frost and Chip Kelly,
and Mark Helfrich, those trio of them, they destroyed the the Pac-12 defenses. I'm sorry. Also, shout out to the USC fans melting down in all the live streams. You have not been on a rebuild for the last decade. Shut up. Suck it up. Your team sucks, and Lincoln Riley sucks too. Just suck it up. Every year it's a rebuild year. It's a rebuild year. Shut up.
I am very happy. Like, a bunch of USC fans pulled up some of my old tweets after their first couple of wins this season, specifically, and then because I said that and this is not a shot at you, Justin. I said that they will become the new Nebraska. And so
I was on USC from their win versus LSU. Yeah. I knew they were frauds.
Yeah, and so far this year, they've lost. I think they've lost all their games by a combined 19 points. By that, you are Nebraska.
Yeah, well, we're not done being Nebraska just yet. So, you got to wait till we stop being Nebraska. But you got to take that title from us, all right?
You got to earn it.
We're not going to give that away. somebody said in our UCLA game, they were like, well, at least Nebraska doesn't have to worry about losing by one score. And then somebody, a Nebraska fan, said, don't worry, they'll come back just enough to lose by one score. And that's exactly what they did.
Oh no.
Exactly what they did.
So Sam Kim here. Welcome, Sam Kim. Says Riley has been labeled as aloof and disinterested in program building. So many of my SC friends are hoping to God Riley gets an NFL gig next year. Would anybody take him in the NFL if he's not performing at USC?
Coordinator.
As an offensive coordinator, yeah.
Or quarterback coach.
Okay, yeah, as long as you've got an absolute okay. I was gonna take back my point before I'd even finish making it. As long as you've got a stud at quarterback,
it's usually the best case.
Oh, shut up!
You join Harbaugh in LA.
If he can't lead a bunch,
I just ruined Mac's point.
A bunch, 18, mid 20-year-old be able to lead men in the NFL. No way.
Right.
It's not gonna happen.
Well, is it that, or is it because like in the NFL, you're better if you're a tactician? Like, because that's why Harbaugh was so much better in the NFL than at Michigan for the longest time, was because he was a good tactician. And then, back in 2020, somebody comes into his office and says, bro, you got to lighten up. They're just kids. And he goes, oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, but
and then all of a sudden
he's a guy. He's a guy.
I think Lincoln would be fine though, like in a coordinator or QB coach type of role. Though.
Hold on, Garrison was teaching me biology for a second here. I need to understand the point.
Shut off.
He's a guy.
Don't mean to interrupt.
What is that?
He's a dude.
All right,
yeah,
tomorrow's Tuesday, guys. Let's figure this definition out before tomorrow.
I need to. What even is a guy?
Please.
Oh no, not this.
I gotta go. That's my time.
Guys, see you later.
Well, it's interesting because Mac was actually saying earlier that it would be interesting if Michigan fired Kurt Campbell and brought in Riley as a coordinator, as the OC.
Oh God!
But from what Ben was saying, though, I mean, if he's got an $80 million buyout, yeah, Riley's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to quit or for show cause, like for cause reason.
Yeah, there would have to be some.
And no NFL team is going to even touch anything like that because he's not going to make that type of money as a coordinator in the NFL. Even he's making like $10-11 million a year.
Yeah, it's
to win 4 games at this point. Do you know how much money he's winning to lose? Getting paid to lose,
which is exactly why I don't think he'd ever go to the NFL as a position coach ever, just because the money's not there from what he's another team if he was ever to let go from UFC, another team's going to throw money at him.
Florida,
I wouldn't surprise me, just throwing something on a wall and hope it sticks.
Yeah, their track record is so good at spending money. So
yeah.
Florida's just desperate at this point.
Yeah, they might hire Sharon Moore.
Sharon Moore's not going anywhere. All right, you know what?
Well,
Sharon Moore's not going anywhere.
All of us, we're glad he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not going anywhere. But the coordinators are the ones that need to go somewhere. Kurt Campbell
might take over Eastern Michigan.
But wait a minute. All off season, all I heard about the coordinators was, they worked under the previous staff. They'll be fine. Nobody's better at development.
Just to hit the ding.
It's all I heard all off season. And now you guys want to fire everybody.
So I don't like to prey on the downfall of a brother, but
all right.
Things that didn't come to
I never said that everything was going to be hunky dory. I said that it should be fine because they worked under the last administration. So it should be like there should be consistency there.
I'm just biting my lip because I have many comments, but I'm just gonna sit there.
Nobody's got to convince me that Michigan sucks and all of the pundits were wrong over the offseason. We were wrong over the offseason. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Like we were kept hearing things like, oh yeah, Michigan might be even better than they were last year. I personally thought that was bunk. But like they said, oh yeah, Michigan's going to be at least consistent. It's going to be 9-3, 10-2, and I wanted to believe that, and I thought, all right, 9-3 if they can.
He's crashing out, folks. He's crashing out.
I also heard, I think it was on the Michigan Voice of College Football, that Alex Orji had a higher ceiling than Will Howard. How's that working?
You did hear that. I called
Yeah.
I called TJ out for
I
that
didn't
one.
say that.
TJ,
TJ's got some
TJ.
takes, bro, that are
Stealing.
terrible.
That's only because everyone just wanted to hear orgy in the end zone. Every
That's
announcement.
absolutely true. Yeah,
We
we
don't
just
see
wanted
that on Emgo blog anymore, do you? Nope.
we just wanted every Michigan game to become an NC-17 type situation. All right.
By the way,
that's
Mac,
it.
Mac, I couldn't tell if you were talking football or politics. You said we thought that because everyone came back from the last administration. I'm like, huh?
We thought it was going to be great.
Senators.
Michigan
Make
football
Michigan
needs a
great
party
again?
system, yeah.
Yeah. One day they're all like, "Yeah, Sherrone Moore is going to be great because it's the Harbaugh administration." Next thing we know, Russia's invading Ukraine, Gaza's in turmoil.
Okay, so our second question.
Freaking Iran might get a nuclear weapon, guys. I don't know. I don't understand it. What did Sherrone Moore do? I don't know.
That nuclear weapon's called Evan Link.
Oh man.
Question number 2 for the evening.
Sherrone Moore's foreign policy is total
Moving
crap.
on. Mac, don't make me shut your camera off.
Come at
Put
me.
Mac at the bottom again.
Let's go.
Question number 2. Did James Franklin seal his fate after losing another big game at OSU? So this article comes from A to Z Sports. Penn State lost 20-13 to Ohio State, significantly hurting their Big Ten title hopes. Head coach James Franklin record against top 10 teams is now 3-19. That's crazy. Okay. Despite winning the Big Ten in 2016, Franklin's overall performance has been inconsistent. He signed a 10-year, $75 million contract extension in 21. Franklin's contract includes bonuses for winning the Big Ten. He's only gotten once, apparently. Making the college playoff. Have they made the college playoff?
No, they knew what they knew what they were doing when they wrote all this extra stuff.
The year they beat Ohio State and won the Big Ten, Ohio State still got in over them. So they probably
And he also gets a bonus for winning a national championship, which he just lost out on.
Oh, it's high expectations.
Yeah. Okay,
Penn
so we
State's
have
going to
talked about
playoffs or no?
what?
Yeah. They're going 11-1.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll get in the playoffs, but obviously they're not going to go much past round 1, I wouldn't think. But so we've talked about many times, you know, that Ryan Day and James Franklin had that stat in common where they had trouble with the top 5 teams. So Ryan Day has now seemingly overcome that hurdle. James Franklin has not. So what do you guys think? Has he sealed his fate? Are they finally going to get rid of him, or is he going to get 5 more years?
So I don't think he sealed his fate. So if we look at the state of the program before James Franklin, there was the big Penn State scandal with Jerry Sandusky, Joe Paterno. And then, you know, when James Franklin came on board and they finally 2016 season, I just think that Penn State fans are somewhat content with where they're at from where they used to be. I mean, they're okay with losing 1 or 2 games a year. And I'm serious, you guys. I know you.
I'm laughing at Moose. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Rob.
Getting into the Rose Bowl, winning that. But other than that, like I don't think they're getting rid of him. I will say that Penn State fans are more than likely getting tired of the same old narrative against Ohio State and his play calling. I don't know what was worse at the end of that game. You know, I was at that game, had really good seats. So they were at the goal line, ran it 3 times down the middle, and did a predictable 4th down pass. Just awful play calling. So they fired their offensive coordinator like last season. So there's no more excuses for James Franklin. You can't blame the offensive coordinator because he fired that one. And also, you know, again, it's just the same narrative. Those games are close, but go back to 2018. It was like 4th and 3, and you try to run it down the middle, and when Chase Young has been eating everything up, you know, at what point do you not blame James Franklin?
Right.
But due to the state of where he's taking that program from when they were and another thing that has saved them is the expansion of the college football playoff being down to 12 teams. I had them being one of the teams that would benefit from actually being expanded, and they have a really good chance. I mean, God willing, they don't lose another game, they go 11-1. They'll be in the college football playoff, and then he'll have a chance to, show his worth. Hasn't been Ohio State since 2016. Same old. Great, plays a great defensive game, but just can't get done on the offensive side of the ball. So
now here to underline Rob's point there on what Penn State expects. You look at Joe Paterno. You've got, if I have this right, 553 games that he coached, and he maintained a 74% win average.
If they still count as wins.
If they still count as wins.
Yeah,
well, that's true. Yeah, I guess if you say they took some of those years out.
Take them away from them,
But now Franklin has coached 135 games, and he's already down to 70%.
Yeah,
so they are not doing as well.
Franklin seems to have hit, like a lot of coaches do. He hit a wall against certain teams, or for some reason it's just this massive wave. Like everything else is like, okay, it's a little struggle here and there. We blow up these teams, blah blah blah. Then we get to this game, like Ohio State. All of a sudden, a wall just goes up, and I don't know if they get hesitant or just scared in the situations, and he wants to become, not aggressive in play calling for some reason.
They're the wall, though. Like I feel like they're their own wall, because like even against teams like they come out in that Illinois game, for instance, right? And if Illinois scores a touchdown there on the goal line, that's a 14-14 game at the very end of it. Like they're just a team that, like, I feel like every single time, like in my head, when I'm visualizing a Big Ten power rankings or anything like that, you're always thinking of Penn State just kind of in this own second tier kind of by themselves. Just like that's immediately where your instinct goes. And I think that's just kind of where Penn State is as a program. Like maybe this is kind of what they are, unless they get some kind of, it seems like Penn State, if they could just somehow manage to land, one of the QBs that you kind of get excited about, like a Drew Aller is not a guy that we're going to get excited about watching on Sunday, or something like that. Like if they just had I feel like they're that close, but yet at the same time, they feel so dang far away, because it just seems like every single time they just get out coached and out executed. And I feel like they have the talent, of course, advantage over a lot of these teams, Ohio State not being one of them, but they just never, it doesn't matter. Whenever they go out there, they're just out schemed, out executed. So, but the thing is Franklin doing well enough to just continue to live in this space? That's because when I look back at when Frost was fired, it took losing to Georgia Southern and 600 some odd yards to put those type of things change seasons, right? Or change trajectories of a program. Like that was the reason Frost got fired that week. If that doesn't happen, then a lot of things aren't in motion, next. So like at some point, I think maybe Penn State has to realize that like this is just kind of where they are, and they're content in this. And if they don't do something, to give him more assistance, or just ask him like, hey, what do you need, or something like that, they're going to have to get rid of him. I don't think you could just sit here in football purgatory and be kind of like, bridesmaid, never the bride type of situation, and just sit here while Ohio State and Oregon just kind of take over, the conference. It's an arms race of a new Big Ten. What you done for me lately? And they can't continue to be the same, because they're going to fall behind in the recruiting as well.
But who are you going to get?
Well, I'm saying
that's the question.
But the thing is, I'm not saying necessarily you get rid of them right now. I'm saying, have they done everything they can, and just be like, hey, like, have they thrown, what's their NIL situation? Like, have they given him full reign? Like, here, let's give you, that one final ditch effort, like where they're just like, we're going to let you take this, right, and get the players that you want to get. Like the Texans did this with Bill O'Brien, and it turned out to be a failure, where they basically gave him the GM role. But that way you can see like, hey, this is the final test of, is this guy right for us or not? And we're going to get out of his way and let him, handle this offseason, handle how we're doing this. And if he can't, that's his chance right there. If he can't make it with that, it feels like that's kind of what Ryan Day was this year. It's like, we're giving him all this money. We're going to throw all this money at it. We're going to give you a championship roster right now. Let's go win it.
I'm a little on the other side of this. I'm kind of like where Mac is with this. If you like, I know Justin, you said like not right now, but if you fire him, like where do you go? Because so like I told Bryce yesterday on our show, in my mind, if you're gonna get a coach and fire James Franklin, you need to make sure that you're going to get the same production out of that coach or better.
That's
if you're not,
slope, yeah.
and if you're, man, it's really tough to go in. Like I say to Buckeye fans all the time, that those weird Buckeye fans that want to fire Ryan Day. Those are some scary dark waters you go into when you fire a coach, man. You don't know what you're getting.
Step back, yep.
And I think it's really simple for Penn State. I think if they had wide receivers, their wide receivers had 3 receptions against us. If they had wide receivers, I think Drew Aller looks different. I think that offense looks different. I think that team looks different. I think that they lack skill on the outside. I understand, like, you got, like, Michigan won the championship last year, but, like, I found that to be the exception and not the rule. You're not going to – and you guys actually had some pretty good wide receivers last year. You're not going to win through your tight end and your running backs. Even Georgia, even though they have Brock Bowers and they had really good running backs, they had guys on the outside that could show out. I think that James Franklin – I mean, and listen, coaching is a part of it. I feel the same way I feel about Sharon Moore on that last play call on the goal line. I can't, like, for James Franklin on those 4 plays, I can't believe you let all 4 of those plays come through your headset and you didn't say no. So, I mean,
sorry, I was just real quick.
No,
so
go
like, okay, so I just looked up that drive. I was looking up that drive for the specific point. Like, Katron Allen run for no gain to the OSU 3. Katron Allen run for 1 yard to the OSU 2. Katron Allen run for 1 yard to the OSU 1. Drew Aller passing complete to Khalil Dinkins. He's running for a yard each of these plays. So I'm over here like, if it works, it's a great play call. If it doesn't, it's a horrible play call. What doesn't make sense to me is if he's running Katron Allen up the middle each time, thinking like, okay, he just needs a yard. Like, to me, that's actually a pretty reasonable play call. He just needs a yard,
I think where it becomes unreasonable is that before this game, for the last 2 weeks, you've seen Ohio State stuff 2 other teams who are good on the ground on the goal line. You've seen it, like, you saw it against Nebraska, who can run the ball. You saw it against Oregon, who can run the ball. And it's not even just that. Dude, you took your starting left guard put him in a tight end position, and you kept running him on a motion while your backup left guard was in. Like that,
right.
That doesn't make sense. You just, like, dude, when Tyler Warren got that 33-yard run, I had already made up in my mind, Tyler Warren's going back at quarterback. They're gonna get a touchdown. Like, I already in my mind, I was already thinking about the next drive for Ohio State and getting a game-winning touchdown. That was already in my mind. So, like, even though I'm proud of my team, I thought they put the nuts on the table. I was like, I can't believe. I was mind blown by the decisions of that Penn State coaching staff, and I was even more mind blown that James Franklin actually let that happen.
They have the number 10 ranked red zone defense for a reason. I'm floored that, like, and drop when I got to witness those 3 plays. I'm like, he's gonna get creative. He's gonna call something different. I don't know why he keeps running down the middle. They're pretty much stacking the box, and
you run a bare front. Run a bare front. You're gonna be able to stand up. A run game. That's the thing, Mac, about run games is, like, you can, even on a simple inside zone, the running back is still choosing between multiple gaps, and he's keying off of certain blockers, and those blockers' jobs, of course, is to create a crease. However, if they know that you're running up the middle and they can just game plan for that 3 times in a row, there's no way, because they're just going to bring more blockers than you can. They're going to bring more people than you can possibly have blockers. And they didn't give them anything to get them out of that look. And so what they did is they're like, we're just going to double down that we're better at you than this. And they're not. And that is on the fault of the coaching. And same with Nebraska against Ohio State. Like our play calling there, we started with the ball at the 6-yard line. Horrible. I mean, it is terrible. No motions, none of that. We tried an outside run with a guy who's about 180 pounds, true freshman. Like, there's just, you got to be able to, against teams like that, who especially lock down in the red zone, you got to be able to find ways to take them out of it, move guys out of the box. You got to get really, really creative. You can't just say our guys are going to beat yours, because odds are that's not going to happen against them.
Here's the thing. For me, regarding James Franklin and Penn State, the 4 downs near the goal line was egregious to me. The more egregious was letting 30 seconds run off the clock with 1 minute to go and 2 or 3 timeouts in your pocket, bro. That's way worse to me. Are you playing for a field goal? You have 1 minute on the clock. You're at the 38-yard line.
I think he was scared that he would give us the ball back with
Too much time. Yeah.
I think he was scared, and you can't.
I get it. And then he got aggressive, and then he got too aggressive on the goal line, and he made the Super Bowl play to Marshawn Lynch, where you don't hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch, you pass it, and you get a pick.
Playing for 3 will end bad for you every single time, man. Every single time.
Well, it has.
Cowardice does not pay off in college football.
That was an amazing pick by Davidson Ignosin, by the way.
Oh my gosh!
Amazing interception.
I thought it was a touchdown, and then, of course, the replay showed clearly.
I took a cold shower after it.
Wow.
Whoa. TMI, demonetized again.
Who's the one with the OnlyFans here?
Me.
See, why do you keep...
I wasn't gonna bring that up. It was gonna get a little too weird.
Harrison made some money during halftime.
Yeah. Anyway.
Let's be the adult.
So if you had to pick, all right, so just nail it down. Will James Franklin be coaching Penn State next year?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. They're not firing him after 11-1 for sure.
I don't know how reliable these guys are, but they have his buyout at $56.5 million.
Yeah, that's about right.
I saw 56, so that's about right.
All right, guys, let's get into some picks. Let's do our pigskin showdown. Let me hit this. Boom. Hey, Mac, you're huge.
Wait, why am I big?
Whoa. Whoa, wait a minute. I lost this thing. Hold on. We're getting there. Nobody panic.
Oh,
okay, Mac, you can panic. That's fine.
I guess my ears.
All right, guys, here's the standings right now. With 35 games picked, Garrison is looking at 27-8, 77.14%.
Boo.
Justin, you're at 81% with 37 games called.
Boo.
Mac is at 71.4 with 49 games called. Peter's at 75 with 41 games called. Rob there sitting at 80%.
That's crazy.
25 games
Rob,
called.
I see you.
And Ben has 50% because he's called a max total of 4 games, which is not bad.
Not bad.
It's a good place to start.
I'll take 3/4 on money line picks. That's pretty good.
I wish I would have
Mac,
picked
you take
Minnesota.
more chances.
Who did
You
Minnesota
take more
play
chances.
on
Minnesota
Saturday?
screwed me. I picked
Yeah.
On your OnlyFans?
Who did they play?
Illinois.
Illinois.
No.
Yeah,
I think I picked Illinois.
We all picked Illinois.
I was thinking about picking
I was-
Minnesota, but I didn't like how PJ Fleck.
I knew Caden Fagan being out would be the Illinois couldn't get a run game going.
How do you know his name?
Caden Fagan?
They're besties.
I just do. I don't know. I follow this way too close, I guess.
I was saying, Mac, you do take more chances on your picks. So that's pretty good.
I do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he
All
did.
right. Indiana every week. And you're winning.
Yeah.
So a winning percentage there. Yeah, that's always good.
I mean, yeah, whatever. Never mind.
Not versus Ohio State, you won't. You won't do it, Mac.
Against Ohio State, I'm absolutely picking Indiana. Fight me.
Here's what we're going to do. So I think everybody liked the 30-second pick steal last week. Oh, Garrison, you weren't here for that. So what we're going to do, Garrison, is you get 30 seconds to make your case for your win.
I like that.
And then everybody gets to do their 30 seconds. I Justin's going to stand by in the air horn if you go over 30 seconds.
No, dude, because every time Justin, no, dude, because when Justin talks, man, you know that GIF that has the guys look at all the numbers. That's just throwing numbers at you, dude. I'm like, good, stop it.
Everywhere, yeah.
But
I love the
I
numbers.
never want to go after Justin ever again.
Because I know you guys do a lot of research and you know a whole lot about this stuff, we're going to allow for discussion after the picks are made. So basically, everybody gets to get their voice out, and then we're going to discuss.
I'm really uncomfortable right now.
I had a little bit of difficulty trying to decide which was the big game this weekend, because we've got Michigan at number 8, Indiana. We've got Washington at number 6, Penn State. We've got Purdue at number 3, Ohio State. We've got Maryland at number 1, Oregon. It's unlikely that any of the ranked teams are going to lose. So the only way I could figure this out is that I think that the most important game to the Big Ten championship here is actually the Michigan at Indiana game, because if Indiana wins this, they still have a shot. If they don't win this, they don't. Everybody else is cruising. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with Washington at Penn State. And Mac, you're going to go first. Are you ready?
Sweet.
Well, actually,
no,
don't be ready. What?
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say, I really double-checked my numbers this time, so I hope I got them all right. Washington is 5-4, 3-3 in the conference, which just so happens to be exactly what Michigan is. Number 6, Penn State is 7-1, 4-1 in the conference. The spread is 13 points with the 45.5 over/under. Mac, are you ready?
I guess.
All right, go.
So one of two things is going to happen in this game. Either Penn State is going to be really upset that they lost to Ohio State and they're going to come back with a vengeance and be like, yeah, we're going to take out all of our anger on Washington. And Washington's going to be like, oh no, help me. What did I do? I don't deserve this. And Penn State's going to win a blowout. Or Penn State's going to start, circling the drain and everything's going to fall apart and explode on them and it's going to be terrible. I like to think that they're probably going to come back with a vengeance because they're still in this. Give me Penn State 35-10.
35. All right. Justin, you get to go next. You ready?
Yep.
Go.
Hold up.
Wait, what?
I demand that Justin do it with that helium voice the entire time. We're going to cut it out and we're going to make it a short and we're going to post it everywhere.
All right, let's do it. You want this one?
Oh, you got that.
No, that's the next one. That's the next one.
All right.
Cool.
Set. Go.
All right. Yeah. So basically, Penn State. 13 points is a lot of points. I'm not picking Washington to pull the upset, but here's what I'm going to say. Washington does have, like I said, a soft, weak run defense, a pretty good pass defense. Penn State does have some execution issues, but I just don't think Washington's quite good enough to give them too much of a problem. So, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. 27, Penn State 27, and Washington 24.
Wow.
Good.
That was great, Justin. Thank you very much.
That was fantastic.
Peter,
Cliff,
are you ready?
I'm not ready, Cliff.
You want me to go to Rob?
No, I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, and go.
That was too funny. Justin, if you do that again, I will give you $5 on Venmo. Okay, Penn State 27, Washington 17. The Huskies are not talented enough offensively. The QB is good, not great. I don't even know if he's good. He's average. He's between average and good. So is Drew LR because his receivers are terrible. His O-line is not great. They don't have Olu Fashanu. Penn State wins at 27-17.
Is this the whiteout
You're
game?
right on. All right.
Is this the whiteout game?
Yeah, this is the whiteout game.
All right. I got it.
All right, Rob, are you ready?
Yep.
Go.
All right, so Penn State better get its run game going because Washington has a pretty good pass defense. It's a whiteout game. Fans are crazy during that game. They're going to be in it. I think Penn State is looking for some vengeance. But it's going to be close. So I have them winning. Penn State winning 27-14.
Ooh, 6 seconds left. Nice.
Nicely done.
Let me. I'm going to go to Ben. I'm going to jump down here because since Garrison wasn't here, he gets to watch Ben do this because Ben did this for the first time last week. Ben, are you ready?
No, sure.
Okay, go.
Yeah, as mentioned, Penn State's either going to come out very angry or just watch their season and piss it away. Washington, though, by the way, has not won a road game yet. So I think Penn State's going to come out to wide out. I'm going to take 31-13 Penn State.
Ooh, 13 seconds left.
That's how you do it, boys.
Nice. All right, Garrison, you got this?
Yeah, I got it. So Washington coming from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, that's about 4 points to me. Wideout is equal to 7 points. I think Penn State's just better than them, and they can run the ball. Washington can stop the run. Give me Oregon 30, Washington 14.
Whoa, that's rivalry week.
Hold up.
I'm sorry, Penn State. Penn State.
That's last week of the season.
Sorry, see, Ben went before me, so Oregon was on my mind. No, give me Penn State 30, Washington 14.
Rent free.
Is that your pick? Lock it in for Oregon, Washington, by the way.
We're living rent free in
I
love it.
on their heads.
I didn't make any notes for this.
Right around the same score.
Anything you guys want to add to this one?
No, I will say my score is banking on Washington actually taking advantage of the red zone opportunities, though, which in a couple games they haven't been able to do. But
if Washington ends up doing pretty well under Jed Fish within the next 2 to 3 years, and Michigan continues being crappy under Sharon Moore, Jed Fish is the next Michigan coach.
Oh, and also Huck the Fuskies.
Sure, that too, I guess.
we hate them.
Oh, okay, got it.
Gotcha. All right, shifting over to Purdue at number 3 this week. Ohio State. Purdue is 1-7. Ohio State is 7-1. That might be the whole game right there. The spread is 38.5.
Over-under is almost the size of the spread.
And the over-under is 53.5. Let's start back at the top. Mac, are you ready? Actually, you know what? What did I have here? Ohio State has one ranked team left to play, which is Indiana. Oh, could Purdue be a trap game? Ooh.
No, God, no. Let's stop saying Purdue trap game.
It was once.
Jeff Brom is not there anymore. There's no more Purdue trap game.
All right.
Remember the blackout game where it was like, this is a trap game?
I just love to say trap.
Yeah.
All right, Mac, you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
You know, at some point in the near future, Purdue is going to have to bring back the era of the spoiler maker because, that era has completely ended with the other guy being gone. What was his name?
Jeff Brom.
Jeff Brom being gone. Thank you. With Jeff Brom going to Louisville, the era of the spoiler maker is totally over, and Ryan Walters' fate is likely sealed here at Purdue. I think he actually might get fired after this season, God willing. Give me Ohio State 56-3.
Ooh.
Love you, Max.
Wow, you're really close to what I was going to say.
Giving Ohio State some love. I like Will Howard. He seems like a great guy.
Justin, you ready?
Yeah. Am I doing this one with a normal voice?
No, you're doing it with the demon voice.
All right, whatever you want.
This one.
There you go.
Hold on.
No. All right.
Hold on. I'm gonna just talk about this one real quick.
Okay. Go.
All right. Ready?
Go.
Not my voice, my normal voice. All right, let's go. So one of the things I did want to point out about Ryan Day that I did like from what he talked about is Ryan Day talked about their discipline last week. And like when he talks about their discipline, he talked about how the O-line discipline allowed him to mix up, different cadences and different timings and snap counts and stuff like that. And so that's an efficiency, when we're talking about the offensive line before, now they had no penalties, none of that. The execution seemed to be better. And now it's allowing him to kind of get that timing and stuff differently to mix it up. That was a fast 30 seconds. Northwestern came out against Purdue, put up 6.1 yards per play. They possessed the ball for 11 minutes longer. Purdue only had 47 yards rushing, so it wasn't a very balanced attack. They're not able to hold on to the ball. Their defense gives up a lot of, time of possession, and, they're just not very efficient offensively or defensively. Maccabee is just unable to get anything going on the ground. He was probably the only thing, any hope that they had. But, they're just a bad team. I think overall this one's going to be probably, I think Ohio State might not just I feel like they may call off the dogs a little early, just mentally. 41 to I don't even want to give them points. It's a 6, I guess. Sure.
All right.
Okay.
That's your only warning. Next time, I'm just going to turn your camera off.
All right, I'll go back to my other voice next time. Quicker.
Peter, you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
I was gonna go 59-3, but Mac's score is too close, and I don't like that being so close. So I'm gonna go 52-0.
Ooh.
Because Purdue scores nothing, and they pose no threat. The Boilermakers are more like the toilet makers this week.
Ouch.
And that was a terrible dad joke, but forgive me. 52-0. Boilermakers are never coming back.
All right. Rob, what do you got? You ready?
Yep.
Go.
Jeff Brom has brought his spoiler making tradition over to Louisville. They just beat Clemson convincingly. So no more spoiler making for Purdue. I have Ohio State winning this. Let's go 50. I'm gonna 50-0.
Come on.
All you people are riding my coattails with this 50 burger.
Not me. I forgot to turn that on. My bad.
All right, I'm gonna give the rest of the Ohio State fans here the voice. Garrison, you ready?
Yeah.
Just get it out.
Right.
What do you got?
Yeah, so Purdue has to play a lot of man-to-man. I think that's stupid. I mean, it's stupid to play against Ohio State. Urban Meyer isn't here, so I don't have to worry about losing games like this and getting blown out. And 3 things are for sure: death, taxes, and Ryan Day smacking the hell out of unranked Big Ten teams. So give me 48. Screw it. My guys are doing it. I'm going to do it too. 0.
Ooh, 2 seconds left. Nice job.
The big O. The big O.
Block O.
Purdue's having a scoring explosion in my prediction.
All right, Ben, I need you to bring some sanity to this. Bring the Buckeyes down. What do you got? You ready?
Yeah.
Go.
I'd like to bring the Buckeyes down to reality, but, it is a little let-off game after a big win against Penn State. But Purdue is literally potentially outside of FSU the worst Power 4 team that there is. So, and you're at Ohio State, and Ohio State doesn't have the Oregon defense. So I'm going to take 49-7 Ohio State.
Right.
49-7.
49?
Yeah.
Hey, Justin thinks they're going to score a touchdown too. It's just going to miss the extra point.
No, they ain't getting the end zone.
No, it's 7 touchdowns.
They're kicking 2 field goals.
If they do, we riot.
I know.
They're definitely kicking 2 field goals.
Mac, Justin, and Ben. So the Ohio State fans have a shutout here. Why are you guys giving Purdue points?
Because
statistically
speaking, it's very difficult to. Yeah, garbage time.
It's hard to shut teams out in football.
It's hard to shut teams out. Yeah.
And again, I just think like Ohio State has gone through, a few weeks here of, kind of having, they had Oregon, Nebraska juggernaut, and then Penn State. But no, I feel like there might be just like a mental, just like they may mentally check out of this game at some point and like let off the gas, not like legitimately like we're going to, let off some steam. I just think mentally they might let off the gas a little bit. Maybe they'll have some execution errors that'll keep from scoring as many points.
You know what? Justin's point made me rethink mine. When he talked right before me, he said, and he just reiterated it, they're going to let off the steam a little bit. I think the starters, once they get pulled, the second string will do great, as they always have. Mm-hmm. But it's just, I don't think we pile it on. I don't think we have a vendetta against the Boilermakers. Ryan Day has never lost to Purdue. Urban Meyer did, and Jim Tressel did a couple times. But Ohio State kills Purdue, and it's just going to be bad.
Julian Sand gets in this game, throws a touchdown. Can't wait.
I thought Peter was trying to change his score prediction. I was like, no, it's locked in. It's locked in.
No, Purdue's going to win. No.
Well, then here's another question. Then when do you think I'm almost wondering, will the starters even start, or will they go straight to the second string? How soon will they pull the starters? How soon will Ohio State pull their starters?
Halftime.
Halfway through the third quarter, I'd say, yeah.
That's when when CJ Stroud was playing for us, man, we were still throwing that thing well into the third. So,
yeah.
I think Ohio State's still going to have starters in the fourth quarter.
Damn.
Seriously, or are you just
right? Yeah, no. Ryan Day doesn't like to pull his starters. Will Howard is still going to be playing in the fourth quarter. Not very long into the fourth quarter, but he'll still be in the fourth quarter.
Chip Kelly broke his back on that one. He broke his back.
Nah.
Yep.
Nah.
I mean, it could be dangerous. You're risking injuries on your starters there, and you want to get to that Big Ten championship game healthy.
Yeah, that's why we had Devin Brown to take those injuries.
Yeah, and Julian saying
it's time to move. It's time to move on from
Devin
Brown. It is
Buckeye.
Yeah,
Garrison, that's rough.
You don't want to give Hudson Card any opportunities to sneak back into the game.
He's sneaky good, not really.
Yeah,
though.
I mean, Purdue did score 40 some odd points against Illinois in the second half or whatever.
That wasn't Hudson Card.
Oh yeah, you're right. So okay, here's what's going to happen. Will Howard's still going to be playing in the fourth quarter, and Hudson Card will not be.
Okay.
They're still good. The score predictions still hold the same.
I mean, you're right. I'm just saying.
I know I am.
Oh my gosh. Freaking hubris over here. Jeez.
I want that.
Justin, do you remember when we were talking about humility earlier?
Yeah, Justin, you're like a pompous Michigan fan.
Learn it, Matt.
All right, our next game.
I thought Oregon taught you guys some humility.
It's
Michigan.
the first time Max ever said I'm right, so I got to bask in it, you know.
Hey, Mac, it's pronounced Hubris, but okay.
Yeah.
Hubris.
Our next game is Maryland at number 1, Oregon. Maryland, I thought, was going to do a lot better this year than they are. They're 4-4, 1-4 in the conference. Oregon is undefeated across the board. Oregon looks great. They have received a unanimous, as I understand it, this is the first time there's been a unanimous number 1 in the AP.
Oh, let's stop with all that.
Wait.
Not the greatest team of all time, if that's what we're implying.
They've only played 2 ranked opponents. They just barely beat Ohio State.
Okay.
Oregon probably wants Indiana to win out.
God,
Ben,
he's going to make me want to hate
calm down. This is, you know what? This is your second time on the show, so we've been cool. And I got a lot of love for Oregon. I didn't, Oregon didn't teach Michigan humility at all. Michigan sucks this year. That's fine. I've made my peace with that. We're okay. But don't pretend for a second like Oregon is the number 1 team in the country because they're just that much better. Everybody else sucks.
You're not a blue blood. Get out of our.
You're not a blue blood. Oh, shut up.
Do be quiet.
Let them know.
Blue bloods. Let's go.
So Mac, you went through the 7 stages of grief already. You're at acceptance.
I'm proud of you, man.
I never went through the stages of grief because I knew this year might suck. I'm fine. We just won a natty. We won the first natty since I was 3 years old. I'm good.
Do I scan over all the videos you guys made to make sure? I'm just kidding.
Oh, I will.
We were so reasonable. It's going to piss you off how reasonable we were in our videos. I said multiple times, like, we might suck this year, but maybe 9-3. I don't know.
Everybody says we might suck this year, but like you have that built in. So when people say this, you can go back to that and be like, see, I said they might suck. It's because you don't.
That's just called being reasonable.
How is that being reasonable that you might suck? Because your conversations on here have been different every single week.
Mm-hmm.
What? How?
I feel like you've been talking a little bit different about Michigan earlier this season than we suck.
Well, yeah. So I've come to accept that. Yeah, no, Michigan just sucks this year. But like earlier in the season, I was like, well, if they can fix this, if they can fix that, maybe they've got a chance against X, Y, and Z. But no, they don't because they haven't fixed those things.
I can't wait to go on YouTube and just like screen record you saying they suck.
With caption, closed captions on.
I do actually have an order to these things. We're going to talk about Michigan in just a minute.
Oh yeah. Jeez,
sorry, Dad.
I work hard at this.
We didn't want to talk about them.
Mac, are you ready to call the Oregon-Maryland game?
I guess.
30 seconds, go.
Maryland, 35-10. Oregon, 42-14.
Nope, too late. Nope. Justin, are you ready?
What happens when you get cocky?
Wait, really? That was a joke.
All right. What did you say? 40 to 14?
It's Oregon 42-14. I think Maryland's probably going to score one early and then not again until garbage time. And Mike Loxley's on his last legs here at Maryland. I think he gets fired within the next year or two.
Justin, are you ready?
Yeah. Am I doing this normal voice or
Yes. Normal
okay.
voice.
Okay.
Go.
Appreciate that. Am I started?
Am I started?
Only
Am I
15 seconds
started?
ago.
All right, my Texas came out a little bit. My bad.
Did I start here? Is it
And
my turn to go?
Today, Junior.
get gone.
I'm being bullied. So it started now. All right. Okay. Well, I mean, I've already lost so much time. Oregon's. I'm just gonna say Oregon's really good. Maryland's not. Spread's 25. Oregon's gonna cover. Let's go 40. Let's go 38-13.
38-13.
I don't know how much time I even had left. I didn't even know when you started. I just was like, let's get a score prediction out.
You had 7 seconds left.
Before I get yelled at again.
Peter, you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
Oregon 49, Maryland 6. It will be bad. The Terps and Mike Loxley do not perform well under pressure. They usually perform well versus Ohio State for whatever God-known reason. I don't know why. But they will not perform well in Eugene. That's a far flight. Let's just be honest. That's a far flight. They'll be tired. They will not be prepared. The Maryland Terps are going to be removed from the conference and replaced with Cal.
The algorithm.
Or Stanford, because they have a better athletic department.
Oregon's first year, they're going to come in and control alt delete Maryland out of the conference altogether, huh?
Yeah, that's what happens. The prince of the conference is going to kick Maryland out in year
Duck.
1.
Rob, are you ready?
Yep.
Go.
56-0.
Dang.
27 seconds left. Nice job.
Yeah, so Oregon controls their destiny to the Big Ten championship game and #1 seed and bye in college football playoff. Dan Lanning has laser focus, and they get this done with the use.
Nice job.
Hey, you're point under on the under. You're almost there. They almost hit the over by themselves.
All right, Garrison, you ready?
Yep.
Go.
So I think Oregon is about to witness sometimes something that happens in the Big Ten sometimes, and it usually happens with teams like Maryland, where you try to put a team away, and for some odd reason, they just refuse to go away. And it's not because you're having a bad game. It's just because sometimes that's just the way it goes. Give me Oregon 40, Maryland 25.
No.
6 seconds.
That'd be sweet.
Ben, are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Maryland has been disappointing as noted. I thought they'd be a lot better this season after watching the bowl game last year. I mean, now they're traveling across the country. They haven't experienced, like Ohio State figured out, Autzen is not a place you want to go play. And I do think Dan Lanning is going to put us some points for style points, but he's going to call off the dogs a little bit. We have injuries. We're not going to risk anymore. I'm going to go Oregon 45-7.
Can I have? I don't know if I asked this question before. Can I ask the field a question? Are we giving Oregon all this credit for having a stadium that is designed to make fans sound louder? Does that count if it's not from your fans?
You can blame because the architect was an Ohio State grad, so you can blame Ohio State for that.
True,
actually.
That's my debate here. Is like, do we go with? Because if that's the case, then I'm gonna go like those Brazilians. You got all those vuvuzelas or whatever. That's like at the soccer things, and then. Or like the little cowbells at South Carolina.
You mean the didgeridoo thing, the Australian?
Yeah, the vuvuzelas is what they're called. I think.
My phone's at 3%, so if I die when I'm talking, I picked Indiana to beat Michigan. Okay.
I was curious on that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I mean, it looks like Oregon is going to skate for the rest of the season. So I think they're pretty much locked for the Big Ten championship unless they.
I'm glad you
completely
said that
screw
because
up.
now they're going to lose one.
You never
Yeah,
know.
Wisconsin. Please not Wisconsin. Or no, please not the Huskies. I'd rather lose to Wisconsin if I had.
You're not going to lose to either of those teams.
You're worried about Wisconsin.
So Peter, you were saying you had to go. Do you want to pick your Michigan Indiana pick real quick?
Yeah, let's go 35 Indiana, 12 Michigan, 4 field goals. I'll see you guys.
4 field goals.
See you,
Special
Peter.
teams having a
See you
day.
guys.
Baby.
Have a good night.
Later,
You're
Peter.
off,
Yep.
Peter.
Good night.
See you, dude.
I love a special teams performance there.
Man.
So Michigan sits at 5-4, 3-3 in the conference. Indiana has moved up to number 8, so they will make it to the playoffs. I think they are undefeated across the board, just like Oregon. So if Indiana wins out, which means beating Ohio State, we've got an Oregon-Indiana Big Ten championship. Which is why I think this game is the big deal for the weekend, because so much is on the line here for Indiana. I don't have a lot of hope for Michigan to beat them, even though I spelled their name wrong. There's always
That's a good sign.
there's always something. There's always something. So, okay, let's go here then. Mac, you're on the clock. What do you got?
Is Curtis Rourke back yet? Do we know?
Yes, he whooped
Yeah.
the hell out of Michigan State.
There we go.
Well,
All right.
It won't matter.
Either way, it doesn't. Yeah, I didn't think it mattered. I'm just trying to decide how much of a spread I want on this game. Yeah, Curtis Rourke is playing out of his mind right now. They destroyed Michigan State, which I absolutely love to see. Michigan State sucks. I'm going to take the Hoosiers. Oh, crap. I can't believe I'm doing this. Give me 31-17.
You can. You're a bigger Indiana fan this year than you are a Michigan fan.
I'm just unbiased. That's all I am, is unbiased. I am a reasonable journalist.
Justin, you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, let's go. So against Michigan State, so I will say Indiana, Michigan State did come out and get a couple stops early, but then Indiana basically essentially cranked the pressure up. And then from there, Aiden Childs couldn't do anything. Indiana forced turnovers. He struggled and then he got injured. They had 7 sacks in that game and 15 tackles for loss. So their pass rush and their kind of their front right now is just pretty relentless. And the fact that their defense is playing so well, it's setting them up to be able to pin their ears back and go after it. But Indiana shut down Michigan State's run game, second worst total in program history running the ball. O-line had been improving over there, and it got torched by Indiana. I have a hard time seeing Michigan being able to keep Indiana's front off of them. Let's go Indiana 31. We go Michigan 20.
20.
I can't believe I'm giving them 20, but there's just something to some part of me that makes it seem like Michigan might keep this somewhat close for a little while.
I appreciate the pick, but I'm really disappointed by the lack of respect for the clock.
So he went way over the time. His pick doesn't count.
I didn't even hear the timer.
That's what the voice of college. The voice of college football people do that. We talk a lot.
Garrison, you didn't hear it either?
Oh, I heard it.
You heard it.
Oh,
Yeah, we all heard it. We all heard it except you and your big mouth.
Well, in my defense, my headphones are broken. This earphone don't work, and this one's like all I hear is a rattle.
I'm sorry. Your earphone don't work? Oh, it doesn't work too good. Oh no.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
Rob, are you doing okay over
Give him a new earphone, guys.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, Rob, 30 seconds. Go.
All right, so I'm going to be as nice about this as possible because the video I just put out before I came on the show is not so nice. So, number 1 rush defense, number 7 in team sacks, 31 for the year, number 3 total defense, number 8 total offense. Really physical football this year. That is Big Ten football at its finest. They're going to bully Michigan up and down the field. They're going to out physical them. Michigan has been the bully of the conference for the last 3 years, but that time is done for now. So I have Indiana winning 45-20.
Damn, 45-20. All right. Did we just lose Garrison?
Yeah, dropped out.
Good.
Oh, there he is. No, he's back there.
Dude.
Garrison is back. What happened?
No, I got some lightning. Some lightning, dude. That's what just happened.
Bro, did you get struck by it?
Are you scared?
No.
You got smacked.
Like lightning.
No, dude. It just like everything shut up and instead of reconnecting. I'm like, oh my gosh. And my Wi-Fi popped back on. So I was like, all right, cool. And then my lights came back on. So I'm happy. All right. So,
All right, are you ready?
Wait,
guys.
wait,
Garrison's afraid of the dark.
Wait, just in case.
I'm starting the clock.
I'm gonna start mine too.
Starting the clock.
All right, so I think Michigan's gonna keep this close for a little bit. I think their pass rush is gonna help them while they're playing Indiana, who does like to pass the ball, even though Indiana is very good at running the ball. I do think Indiana's gonna be able to pin their ears back because Michigan can't pass the ball, and they know that, so they're gonna stack the box and make them in third and long situations. Give me Indiana 35, Michigan 20.
Jesus.
Turn your headphones down, guys.
I got to get one of those.
Who invited?
Yeah,
this
you do.
guy?
Yeah. All right, Ben, are you ready?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Michigan has been improving. I think we saw that against Oregon. I think they're getting some confidence as long as the coaching staff stops making dumb decisions and learns the rules of football, apparently. But at Indiana, Cignetti kills. That's all they've been doing is murdering teams this season. So I'm going to take, in a struggle fest a little bit more, Indiana 32-14.
32-14. 5 seconds left. Nice job.
Win, no matter what.
It's
Cignetti kills.
So fun. So
Wait, do you guys all have one of those cool things? Sorry, Rob.
so I just found
How
out
dare
that,
you steal my voices?
Shut up, Rob. Rob's trying to say something reasonable.
Max, shut up. Rob's trying to talk.
I've got one of these too.
So I just found out in the entirety of Indiana's program, they've never been 9-0. In Kirk Cignetti's first year as Indiana's head coach, he's led them there. So he wins wherever he goes. His overall win-lose is he's 128-35 in the entirety of his college coaching career.
Wow.
His first, I think his first year was like his worst, and then from there he's rattled off 9 wins ever since. Crazy.
USC is gonna really love him next year.
He's not leaving. He's not going anywhere.
They won't even be able to afford him.
They're gonna fire Lincoln Riley. They're either Penn State's gonna fire James Franklin or USC is gonna fire Lincoln Riley and Kurt Cignetti is gonna go to one of those.
Indiana, if they go to the playoff, Indiana better up his contract immediately and give him a pay raise and be like, "You stay here."
They won't. They won't be able to do it. Boosters at some other place will have the money ready to go to back up the Brinks truck and get Cignetti there.
The Mac is in Indiana, bro. He's an insider.
Who's Northwestern's coach?
He's an Indiana insider.
Or maybe Ryan Day chokes again. They fire him and they get Kurt Cignetti.
Nebraska needs an offensive coordinator. Maybe we can hire him.
If we hire a 63-year-old coach at Ohio State, I'll be pissed.
Justin's just saying crap to be
I need an offensive coordinator. I need an offensive coordinator bad. Ours is a top 10 paid in college football.
You can bring back Scott Frost as the OC.
Well, let's not get crazy.
So
I don't mind Scott Frost as an OC. I don't mind Scott Frost as an OC, but him back in Nebraska would be just bad.
You can have Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley goes to Nebraska as your OC. Kurt Cignetti goes to USC as the head coach.
I don't think I want that level of ego as my OC.
Could you imagine Lincoln? Can you imagine Lincoln Riley in Nebraska?
I don't.
I think he would lose his mind.
I don't want to. I would lose my mind.
Is this like so? I thought last year. Who's Northwestern's coach? What's his name?
David Braun.
David Braun.
Yeah. So I thought like last year was one of the best coaching performances I've ever seen in my life. In the modern era, right? Is this the best coaching performance in Big Ten history?
It was crazy.
This year for Indiana and Cignetti.
Man,
I
would say it has to be like, because what Northwestern did was they upset some teams. Like Indiana was supposed to be potential cellar dweller of the Big Ten Conference and is literally having a chance to be 11-1 at the end of the season. Like what David Braun did was
Well,
incredible,
no.
just keeping that team together and putting
Yeah.
something together that was resembling a football team and was able to win some damn games.
Mhm.
But I just
Yeah.
think it's so much harder to go undefeated and flip around a team in 1 year.
And
And dog walk teams.
Credit Signetti,
Yeah.
of course, he came in, but brought in a lot of the guys he knew from James
14
He
JMU
brought in a
transfers.
lot of
got
those
his full
guys that
staff.
he knew that could perform. And then the schedule is also slightly helpful. But
Yeah.
they're murdering everyone they play. So
Yeah. He brought his staff. He brought his 14 players from JMU, and he brought in transfers that were producing over talent. He didn't care about stars. Have you produced at a collegiate level? Yes. Do you fit my system? Yes. All right, you're in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But guys,
Yeah.
and here we are. I'm sorry, Mac. What do you got?
No,
That's
well,
what Harbaugh did. That's what Harbaugh did.
Yep.
What?
But, so here we are with the scores you guys are giving. Indiana is going to roll into Ohio State 10-0. So
Ohio State's winning.
No, they're not.
Well, Indiana has a bye week before Ohio State too, right?
Indiana has a bye week before Ohio State. Yeah.
I may go to that game. It's for one ticket. It's like $56. So
We keep saying that, but a lot of teams have just looked terrible this year off of their bye weeks.
True.
Yes, that is.
But here's the difference. Ohio State has Michigan the next week, and I'm not saying that because Michigan's
That's a
good.
bye
I'm saying
week. That's a bye week.
They're not worried about that.
They're still they're not worried about the game, but it's still a rivalry game, and they want to beat. They've got a point to prove against Michigan, so they're going to try everything they can to beat Michigan into the dirt, and they're going to be thinking about that. Indiana is going to be coming into town thinking, why not?
Yeah, I still stand by that. You know, a lot of people scoff the rivalry thing. I'm like, no, it is true.
But they're not going to look
wacky
ahead
things
past
happen in
Indiana.
rivalries.
They're not going to look past Indiana because
No, we're not going to look past Indiana, brother.
For
We're
me,
not going to look past Indiana.
That's the season right there.
It's still a rivalry, though. It's still a rivalry.
The rivalry matters when the game gets there. Nobody is looking ahead to a rivalry unless it's a team that's like, okay, we got an easy game this week. We're looking. That's when you look ahead. You look ahead when you overlook a team you shouldn't. Ohio State's not looking at Indiana saying this is a team that we shouldn't overlook.
To clarify, I wouldn't say Ohio State's going to overlook Indiana, but I was going to say wacky things happen against Michigan because it's a rivalry game.
Oh,
you're not going to overlook Indiana. Yeah,
Ohio State's overlooking Purdue for the Indiana game, so they're more than likely practicing a little bit at a time for the Indiana game as well.
Yeah,
I guess okay. So like
Ohio
I
State's
don't
worked out the kinks. I think they're going to be okay moving forward.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would necessarily overlook Indiana either. I think that Indiana is just good enough to go into Ohio State and beat them straight up.
Maybe
because a part of it, I think, is because Ohio State is going to be feeling like ready to go. Like all they have to do is get past Indiana, and then they're going to crush Michigan, and the Big Ten is there.
The mental gymnastics you're playing to like get in the mindset of all these teams. So this upset can happen is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and how dare you once again?
Signetti kills.
Yeah,
I probably
Signetti the credit.
Exactly.
Like I like Indiana. I'm a fan of their team right now. But please make no mistake about it. There's a very good chance they walk into Columbus, Ohio, and we dump them off into the Olentangy River. There's a very good chance of that.
roster. This is a championship roster.
Like at the end of the day, man, this is still football. This is a Jimmy and Joe sport.
I think this is what Ohio State said when they were going to Oregon. Like, oh, look at this little stadium; it's so cute and adorable. And then
I don't think that's what not what they were saying at all.
No,
I think that's what
Ohio State fans were given a lot of respect.
I have friends at that game, and they said that they literally wearing ear protection because of that stadium, which is ridiculous.
So hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. How are we looking at the way? How are we looking at the way Ohio State has been playing and just be like, yeah, they're going to be fine the rest of the season? Like it's like
because the improvements that they've made with their for me seeing the difference in their offensive line and just kind of seeing they've had a couple of weeks of bad film. The Oregon game, they really learned a lot defensively about how Oregon came out and just pressed their receivers to the brink and just really kind of blitzed them. And then they learned a lot from the Nebraska game where Nebraska came out with a lot of bare fronts. Nebraska was really content on shutting the run game down. And, what we did against Indiana is we had a lot of those fronts where you kind of leave the middle open so you can get your edge rushers out and get after the quarterback. Well, in Ohio State, they couldn't do that because Indiana gashed up the middle. So they had to close it in tight. And again, Ohio State struggled against that, but their offensive line not only played against one of the tougher defensive lines, but they did it and they executed well and they didn't get penalized. So there's a lot of things being coached, just because I don't judge teams based on how they look necessarily and I'm going to say this, but let me finish. In the games, I go by how they respond to those bad performances. And Ohio State has responded by improving off of those bad performances. So I have no reason to think that Ohio State is going to fall back into those old habits, and unless they prove me wrong and do, but I have no reason to think that.
Another thing is that it's a different Ryan Day this season. From what I've seen in the big games, he's actually gone for it on 4th and short situations because he knows that this is big time. I'm going to correct my mistakes in the past. And you know what? I'm pretty sure when I said this when I was on your guys' show, Cliff and Mac, I said that Ryan Day has to let his balls drop. He has this season, and he's going to continue to do it.
And then he still grabs them and cries about it and mails the Big Ten to review the play like 2 weeks after the Oregon game. So, I mean,
you got to give him credit where credit's
Hey, I'm sorry.
He threw his headset.
I'm sorry that Oregon doesn't have as much. You guys don't have as much pull as we do.
I think that I do agree though. The 4th and shorts and stuff, the 4th and 1, 4th and 2 is going for it. I think there's also a little bit Chip Kelly, because Chip Kelly's. I think he is the play. That's the only reason Chip Kelly went there. He was the play caller. I think Chip Kelly, he rolls the dice. I know this is an Oregon fan. He was always very aggressive.
Yeah.
So he knows those situations when do it.
Ryan Day also flipped out when it was a targeting call after Nebraska got destroyed with calls the entire game. And the Big Ten actually had to come out and make a statement about how bad one of their calls was against us against Ohio State. And Ryan Day was still complaining that they were the victims. That rubbed me the wrong way. And he talked about Nebraska like there was some scrub, like we should have been in the game with these clowns. Like that made me, bro. I'll knock that rosy cheek bitch out. Sorry.
That's why I feel like it's been a crazy season between the going after the rules. Several different coaches going after these rules things. The reffing has just been absolutely horrific this year. And just wild things going on. But Indiana, okay, I guess this is why the Indiana question keeps coming up, though. That Kurt Cignetti has brought Indiana to this is their first 9-0 season in 50, 60 years?
Ever. And 9-0 start ever.
First, okay, the best 9-0 start ever. So they're doing things at Indiana that they've never done before. So that's why it keeps coming up that can they actually do this against Ohio State?
Of course, yeah.
And I know it's always possible. Right now the FPI has it at 29.6% chance for Indiana to beat Ohio State. So not much of a chance, obviously.
Well, I don't think we were saying they don't have a chance. I'm just saying
no, yeah.
If this plan plays out how it should, they won't win. Yeah.
Right.
Just based on talent, yeah.
Right. The should Ryan Day question get fired? Should Ryan Day get fired question just won't go away. And this one, it's starting to get to a point that I don't understand. Say that OSU goes 10-2 and then lose first or second playoff game. Do they ditch Day and go after Indiana's head coach?
No.
If he beat Michigan, he won't.
Well,
I promise you that.
Right. Yep.
They're not gonna.
Listen, man. All right. So I'll answer this for you, Kay. When it comes to Ryan Day, there's just no way you're gonna fire him. He's at the worst. No, not at the worst. He is a top 3 coach in college football. I mean, the guy has lost less than 10 games in his career so far in 5 years.
3 of which to Michigan.
And his only loss, that's fine. And his only losses are to
Oregon. 2 to Oregon.
Yeah, two right, that's fine. No, that's fine. But my point is that it's 2 to Oregon, 3 of Michigan's best teams of all time, and then Georgia, who no one thought he was going to beat, Alabama, who we weren't going to beat. I'm a very logical person when it comes to these things. I don't overreact. No, I really don't. I refuse to overreact to things like this. I just can't. If we were in a situation, where, let's say Jim Harbaugh, right? Let's talk about Jim Harbaugh. if we were in a situation where I saw 8-win season out of my coach, a 9-win season out of my coach, I'm getting sandblasted by both my rivals, that's a different situation. When it comes to Ryan Day, I'm consistently getting 10, mostly 11-win seasons, and I'm always in the conversation. You can't fire Ryan Day. You can't.
How Harbaugh wasn't getting blasted by both rivals. He was 500 with MSU until 2022 and 23.
No, but you were getting sandblasted by Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State was the hurdle that they had to get over every single year. But either way, like Michigan had just come off of Rich Rod and Hoke. Like there was no way they were ever going to get rid of Harbaugh, even if all he did was win 9 games a year.
Let's put it this way. Like Nebraska fired Frank Solich because he was winning 10 games a year. And then they fired Bo Pelini because he was winning every game that he should. He was winning every game he should have, but he was losing to the teams that were supposed to beat us. And it was winning 9, 10 games a season, and they fired him. And now look where we're at. So it's not always like that's not always the best move. And I don't think I think Ryan Day is, like he said, in my opinion, he's also a top 3 coach in college football. Yeah. You rock with Ryan Day.
I'm sorry, Justin. Look, okay. Jim Harbaugh is not a generational coach. And never in my life have I ever seen a coach listen, the national championship is the national championship. But I've never seen a coach get so much credit for losing a Super Bowl. Like, my goodness.
And Connor Stallions at the college level.
You want to know what generation?
Holy crap, you need help, dude. Like
you want to know what generational is? Winning 2 national championships. That's generational. I saw that gumbo munching guy in LSU win a championship. And listen.
Harbaugh has back-to-back undefeated seasons. He turns around every team that he goes to in year one.
What back-to-back undefeated season did he have?
He had 2022 and 23 were back-to-back.
Wait. He finished that year. He won the national championship.
We're throwing generational around like it's not
candy,
the word
like
generational.
That's not generational, bro. That's not.
Harbaugh's not a generational coach.
Maybe it's not like Saban good, but what I'm saying is that from the NFL, for like when he was at Stanford, he turned Stanford around in 1 season. When he went to San Francisco, what did he
dude? You don't get credit for losing a Super Bowl. You don't get credit for that. Like that.
But it wasn't the fact that he lost the Super Bowl. It was the fact that the 49ers were a dumpster fire before he got there. And then the next year, his first year that he gets there, they're all of a sudden like a power. And then he gets to Michigan and Michigan comes off a 5-7 season, then all of a sudden they win 10 games.
Scott Frost turned around at UCF 12-0 and 12-0 in 2 years, but it doesn't matter. You didn't see sustaining.
No, but in defense of that statement for Harbaugh, at the same time,
generational coach is not accurate. Simple.
Ryan Day was handed a very good team, whereas Harbaugh took over, especially Stanford. Pretty bad team.
Ben, I'm gonna let you know something.
We're focusing on the word generational.
Ohio State.
I'm not saying he's generational, but I'm just saying he is a very good coach.
I will tell everyone this, and this will always remain true, and it has remained true for some time now. Whoever the coach at Ohio State is walking into dude. Like I'm sorry, dude. Like I'm not gonna apologize for my program never hitting purgatory, college football purgatory. Like we win games. It's like we had the second highest winning percentage in the modern era of football. Like we don't.
Wow. Wow. They say Michigan fans are arrogant, dude.
Here's the thing. Ohio, to Garrett's point,
I can back it up.
Ohio State consistent winning team ever since Tressel got.
No, they've been the most consistent winning team all time.
That's fact.
Throughout college football history, yes, they are.
No, it's fact.
Look at the numbers; they are the most consistent team throughout the history of college football.
I think that's probably correct.
It is.
I think that's probably correct.
I mean, I would say
Michigan
that's probably
fans are waiting and praying on their downfall.
Damn close, anyways.
They're 100%. I promise you, that's factual. They are.
And Kay, I know it hurts, but that's true. Sorry, guys.
I'm a Nebraska fan. I have no reason to sit here and make this argument for Ohio State.
Nebraska's the nicest fan base in America.
What are you talking about? I'm an Oregon fan. We've been shit forever until like random years and like the last like 10 years.
I want to push back on that slightly. What about in the 90s, the late 80s and the 90s, when they were going 9-3, 6-4, 4-6, 7-4?
It doesn't matter if you add up their win total, like their
the whole win total
percentage. Percentage.
Well, then Michigan's the winningest team of all time.
Yeah,
Michigan has we're talking about you're arguing like Mac does for his picks. Like, oh, I picked the most people, I win.
No. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna cherry pick,
I didn't say I win. I say that mine's the most impressive because I've got double the amount of picks than you fools do. Holy crap!
There's no doubt. I would completely agree that Ohio State has been extraordinarily consistent in the 2000s. And they've always been a good team. But what you're saying then is that
actual information. If I need to get the numbers, I will.
But if you're talking about always being consistent, then you got to go back to the late 80s and 90s.
The most consistent throughout college football history of any team, throughout the history. So if you can the whole
comparing them to other teams.
Everybody. Yeah, that's how we get the most. Listen, what I'm saying is if you take their winning percentage over all of the games that they've played, they have won more and been more consistent than any other team in a similar time frame. Like we're talking about like teams that have spanned throughout college football history. They are ahead of all of those teams, all the Blue Bloods and all that in terms of just consistency and winning percentage decade after decade.
It's like if both me and you, Cliff, ran for 150 yards, but you did it on 4.2 per and I did it on 8 per. I'm more, dude. It's a little bit different.
You can't go by wins because other teams have been around a lot longer than other teams.
Like Michigan playing Ann Arbor Pioneer across the street.
Yeah, bro. They played like.
Well, no. So I was misunderstanding how you were saying it then, because I thought you were saying that Ohio State in themselves is always winning a certain number of games.
Oh, no.
But that's not the case.
Negative. No,
you're just comparing
winning percentage throughout the history of they've just been the most consistent in terms of like decade dominance after, just throughout that entirety of that span. They've been the most consistent, highest winning percentage, that type of.
Shout out to Cooper.
Sure. Yeah, I think
trying to ruin that for us.
And here's how winning they are. Fans are calling their 2-loss seasons down seasons. You know how many teams would love to be considered a 10-2 down season? Do you know how delusional that sounds?
Yeah.
Also, I want to call out this fan K right now. When Michigan lands Bryce Underwood, OSU run is over. Boosters engaged $10 million.
Oh, yeah.
So
for a quarterback,
Bryce Underwood is not coming. He's not. He sees what Michigan has to offer, and he sees what LSU has to offer. LSU just had Jaden Daniels win the Heisman. Sees what he's doing in the NFL. He sees that Brian Kelly forms the offense around.
Hey, Rob, my buddy Bryce. He has a birdie that says he's coming.
Hey, Dave Portnoy's on top of it, guys.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Yeah.
He has a bird.
There are a lot of insiders at Michigan that say that it's confirmed. They're just waiting for him to actually announce it.
Wait, can I ask you two questions?
At least you're setting up a guy with a lot of money to wreck his career. So that's good for Michigan. Good job.
Change his mind.
And I have to point out that Kay just gave us, what is that, 0.01% of that 10 million. So we really appreciate that.
Hey,
shout out to Kay.
$10 super chat. And she says, look at the 49ers, Wolverines, and Chargers. She's talking about Harbaugh. That was really never been done, the turnaround. He will win a Super Bowl here in the next 3 years as well as 23 natty and will be generational. Watch. I would love to see Harbaugh win the Super Bowl, just not this year because I think the Lions are going to get it.
Can I ask you a question to Michigan fans?
Yeah.
So, because I asked Bryce this and he kind of actually agreed with the sentiment. Does it at all kind of worry you that not off just the does it worry you that it's taking that extreme amount of money just to get a kid to even consider decommitting and committing to you?
If that's the cost of the market, then
you're talking about he's decommitting from Georgia.
From LSU. So what Bryce and I were talking about was that it's not that he wants to be there because he's a lifelong LSU fan.
Yeah,
it's the fact that it's taking Ohio State's not paying $5 million for any quarterback, so it's the fact that it's costing this amount of money for you to get this kid.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The era of college athletics where like the kids, grew up wanting to go to their dream school and playing for their dream school, that's been over for a little bit. And NIL was just a final nail on the
Raiola.
No, LSU is his dream school. LSU is his dream school.
Dylan Raiola.
All right. Well, there you go. But I mean, it
Dylan
was
Raiola's little
until
brother,
Michigan
Dayton.
offered. Well, okay, but it was like LSU was his dream school until Michigan came in with a better offer for them for his market value.
That's still his dream school.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. It's not that he wants to be there.
Well,
but that's fine.
Doesn't that apply?
That's honestly fine with me.
Because what he does, there is a little bit of validity to what he's saying, though, because if you're going to a school, like let's talk about the recruiting of the 500-mile radius. Why is that important? Because typically those are the players that are going to stick with your program for the longest through thick and thin. If you have a guy who's tied to your program, has been a kid who loved the program, Heiner Carberg from Nebraska, grew up as a Nebraska fan. Dylan Raiola grew up as a Nebraska fan. Dayton Raiola, his little brother, 2026 quarterback. He's already committed to Nebraska. Like those type of things where they have those connections to the program, they will want to play for that school and they want to bring them out of the dark days. Whereas if you're just getting a bag and coming to this school and they're saying like, we're going to throw this money at you, we need you to make us better. And let's say they do have there's something in the paperwork that's a little off or something like that, or they get disgruntled about something, they're more likely to leave that program as opposed to somebody who wants to be there and it's in their heart to be at that program. That is a big distinction.
Yeah, I think there's an equal mix of it. Obviously, the NIL now is a big deal, but like you're saying, there's also a desire to want to be at that school. So like, look at Dylan Gabriel. He grew up in Hawaii. He looked up to Marcus Mariota. Oregon never offered him. He went to UCF to Oklahoma. So when they got him to go to Oregon, and he got to wear the number 8 like Mariota, that was an extreme honor to him. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there is this little tie-ins where there is a dedication and a uplook to certain schools. It's not just, hey, we're going to overpay this school that you love. Come suck it up with us because even though you hate the coaching staff.
So Bryce Underwood is only going to come for the bag. I mean, like it seems like it. His first choice was LSU. Then all of a sudden, which by the way, Michigan was dogging on Ohio State saying, oh, they just want to throw the bag at people. They actually don't want to come play at Ohio State. But now we have Michigan throwing the bag at this quarterback, $10 million.
That's insane.
That's insane.
I haven't seen anything that can.
I've seen 5. 5 is a lot.
Yeah.
Does he actually want to be at Michigan without the money? Does he actually want to be? If it wasn't that big of an offer, would he be at Michigan? Does he actually want to play there?
But isn't that what we've been talking about? That the era of regional football is over. That with NIL now, it's not necessarily about, this is the school I've always wanted to go to. Now it's about where can I go to get the most impact for my career.
Right. I think we're kind of just disagreeing with the sentiment. If I'm not trying to speak for everybody, disagreeing with the sentiment that like it's not about the money for him if he does come over to Michigan. And I'm not necessarily saying that's going to set Michigan up for failure, but I'm saying, there are elements of it that could, hit them in the face. But to your point, that is modern college football. And so now, kids make a decision, my brand versus my heart, and all that stuff. I was just throwing the counter to, that's why it probably does take more. Michigan's just going to throw money at him. He probably doesn't want necessarily in his heart to be there, which is nothing against Michigan. It's just his heart's in LSU. Right. Nowhere else he goes, heart's not going to be, there in that team as much as it would be LSU. So I think I'm not necessarily dragging it down and saying it's a bad thing. If you got that type of money and you want to spend it, go ahead and spend it on what you feel like. But I do think there's that counterpoint there in terms of like him, at being a fan of LSU and wanting to go there. That was kind of my only counter there.
And I always say, man, Michigan is the most. It hurts me to say this, but I'm from the state of Michigan. I know this. It is the richest, or I won't say richest, wealthiest, and most important public university in the state in the United States of America. That is a fact. So, like, I'm not like I've always been wondering, hey, when are they gonna drop the bag? I just like my only thing is that if I found out Ohio State was paying $5 million for a quarterback,
we're not that desperate though.
Can I put a pause on that for just a second? Ben's got to get going. Ben, why don't you give your socials real quick, and then you can hop out.
Yeah, again, you can follow me on Exploring with Ben and Sam on YouTube. Also, the Oregon Voice of College Football, or the After Dark Show on the Sunday Night Show, and anywhere on Twitter or the socials that I really don't use and don't care about. So you can do that. But once again, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Is the number one team in the land.
Take it back. Burger King already.
The Big Ten. This is a cupcake walk.
I hope we play you guys. Oh.
Shout out to all the other teams here.
I'll be ready to clip
So another question.
Thanks for being on, Ben. We'll see you next week, man.
See you later, Ben.
He was about to jump on him before he left.
All right, go ahead, Rob. Rob, go ahead.
Rob's ready to tear into him.
Another question. What do they do with Jaden Davis then? They've been putting a lot into him this season. Do you think Bryce Underwood is going to sit behind Jaden Davis, or to the side?
Before you guys go, I gotta go.
You got all right.
Oh, okay. Do you want to give your socials too?
By the way, this is so much fun. Good football talk. This was actually so much fun for me.
Awesome.
But again, guys, you can find me at Well, first you can find us at Scarlet Blue Show of the Scarlet Blue Show with me and my co-host Bryce. He's at Bryce Arsack. That's and you can find me at Buckeye_Gaddy. And in in 3 weeks, you can also find me on the Voice of College Football with Ohio State, which I'm very excited about. And and by the way, just to answer your question before I leave, I'm not a Michigan fan, but my best friend Lawson, he's a Michigan fan. He said if we get Bryce Underwood, Jaden Davis can kick rocks. So all right, see you guys.
Take care, Garrison. See you next week.
I just find it so laughable that I've been on I've seen a lot of channels where they're talking about we actually want players who want to come to Michigan and buy into the system and not be all about the money. And now they're saying, because Jaden Davis actually wanted to come to Michigan. He's all in for winning a national championship for that 2024 class, and all of it's rocks because we're gonna get Bryce Underwood. Like I don't know.
I don't want Jaden Davis to go anywhere. My thing is that the era of kids going to their dream school may not be completely over yet, but I do feel like that's kind of where we're headed with NIL. Now, if Bryce Underwood is just coming to Michigan for the bag and his heart's not really in it, then does he have a high chance of transferring out later in his career? Then yeah, okay, fine. That's something that we just have to deal with. For me, though, it's if I'm Jaden Davis, I can do one of two things. I can look at the fact that Bryce Underwood is coming in and say, okay, I got to be better. I got to outplay him. And if I feel like I can't do that, then I got to do what's best for me. And that's not on Michigan. Michigan doesn't have to have, in my opinion, Michigan doesn't have to have loyalty to a quarterback that, just because he wanted to be at Michigan. They need to have the best quarterback on the field. And if that's Bryce Underwood, that's Bryce Underwood. If it's Davis Warren this year, it's Davis Warren.
All right. Got it. I just,
Rob, think about like when Ohio State had 3 QBs deep.
Yeah.
I mean, they had, I keep forgetting what year that was, where they had the 3 guys that we thought when one got injured, the next guy wouldn't be as good, but they had 3 QBs. They were 3 QBs deep with like number 1 draft pick QBs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, those guys waited. So there's got to be a draw to that.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I just, just the narrative about, we don't need, we're not calling Ohio State mercenary U. They're just coming from the bag.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
that's pretty badass though.
No, I get it too. Yeah, I mean, the fans say crazy things, and yeah, it looked like when Michigan wasn't going to pull out the bag and Ohio State was buying a team, then yeah, a lot of us were like, oh, they have to buy a team. But now, yeah, we're in the same boat. So, but it is what it is at this point. Yeah,
but everybody's going to be in the same boat. I'm happy for Nebraska that Dylan Raiola gets to go there, and they've got the legacy thing going on there, and he's happy there. I really hope that we see that in college football still. My thing is though, is that we've already, once you break the glass in case of emergency, you can't unbreak the glass. NIL is here. It's not going anywhere. Now that we've gotten into 7 and 8 figure deals for these kids, you can't just undo that.
Yeah, it's definitely more rare.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, it's, $5 million. It's like Kay's saying here, $5 million will be cheap in 3 years. I think that's probably the case because you think about Quinn Ewers. Wasn't it?
Take 3.
What's that?
May not even take 3. We thought $13 million for Ohio State's entire offseason was a lot. And now we're talking about $5 million for a quarterback in 1 year. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm thinking about Quinn Ewers though, when, what was it? When Texas got him to transfer from Ohio State, Texas, the rumor was that they were offering him more money than a first round draft pick would get.
And then Arch, and then they paid for Arch as well.
Yeah, and they've got that oil money. There's nothing stopping them from continuously ramping that up if it gets butts in the seats at Texas.
Got more money than anybody.
They've got money on money. So why not? Yeah. That's why I think that like these costs of quarterbacks, it's just going to go up. $5 million is going to be nothing quickly.
Yeah. So if Ohio State wins the national championship this season, I don't want to hear from one Michigan fan the best team that money can buy. I don't want to just don't.
At the end of the day, that's what college football is.
But you're also not going to hear that from us.
But the thing is, it's not just that. One thing that you still have to do is you still have to develop and coach, as we've seen. There's rosters for days that aren't winning. Nebraska, again, for the longest time, we've had the 4th most talent recruiting wise, star wise in the Big Ten off of the bus, but we've been one of the worst teams in the conference. Yeah. So like that only gets you so far. So I think it's like, it's okay to point out like, oh, they're spending a ton of money. They got way more money than everybody. But at the same time too, got to understand the team that does win it all at the end of the year, it's going to be due to a lot of factors other than just money.
And I'll say this, and then we should probably wrap up because I'm getting tired. But
me too.
Think about it this way: like Ohio State is in this awesome position where they are so good every single year that they can convince star players from other teams to come to their team because they're confident that they can pull together a roster doing that will win a national championship, and then they have the money to back it up.
Yep.
And Ryan Day is a good enough coach to actually potentially pull it off. I know they lost to Oregon. They might pull that off. And if they can, that's a whole nother thing. At that point, I'm looking at, mercenary U and wearing that as a badge of honor because they're just that good. It's not like where Michigan is right now. Michigan is in this position where they're starting to throw bags of money at high school recruits, but they still got to do something with them. Ohio State can take proven products, put them all on a team and say, yeah, we're a team of all-stars and we paid for it, but we're going to beat the hell out of you. So if they can do it, great. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, and this is, I won't start a new conversation, but this is one of the things that I don't get. I don't know how they could possibly know this with not ever playing in college yet. But
they look at the 24/7 recruiting site, and in their profile, they have like what they will be.
Draft projection.
Yeah, projection, but
all that.
So much is going to change.
DJU.
Let's just call for what is one offseason. Spencer Rattler was projected to be the number 1 quarterback off the board, and he didn't get drafted. After that season, he had to stay in college an extra year. So that'll show you how off those are.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Like you said, great discussion. Really appreciate you guys hanging around. Really cool stuff we got going here. Rob, why don't you give us your socials and I will let you go.
All right. On TikTok, you can find me Buckeye Rob 13, and I co-host with my friend Peter on our YouTube channel, Buckeyes Battle Cry.
Awesome. Thanks again, Rob, for being on the show. Really appreciate you being around. Love all your input.
Rob. Love being on it. All right, later, guys.
All right, take care.
Thanks, Rob.
Justin, hardest working man on YouTube.
Let's go.
With the worst takes.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. I agree with you there sometimes. They're not always the best. But and when they're not, people let me know. Don't worry. But no, you can find me on YouTube at Nebraska Football, at the Voice of College Football. You can find me on YouTube at Big Ten Show, and you can find me on X at _H-Town Husker. So give me a sub, give me a follow over there, and check it out if you'd like.
Awesome. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff going on over there. When's your next watch party?
So I got to get with this. Me and I was a little depressed after the Thursday night game, so we didn't do one this weekend. But we're gonna look and see if there's one worth doing this weekend that's outside of our team's windows. We'll get together about that and just see if we can line up a good game that's outside of our team's window. That's the thing, because we both got to do post games too, so on our channels for our respective teams. So, but I'll post it whenever we get that settled.
Okay, cool. I'll be looking for it.
Yep.
Thank you very much for being on. Always appreciate your input. Love having you around.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me on.
Take care. See you soon.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Later.
See ya.
All right. Oh, we got a couple more chats here. Let's see.
Couple of good chats here.
Couple of good chats here. Jackson, I want to say thanks to Jackson Johnson. I appreciate your everything you've done for the show too. You're the guy out there. Thank you for promoting the show. Appreciate that. The Penn State guy says, I do player evals, and Bryce, from a physical standpoint, is the best QB I've seen over 10 years.
Dang.
Nice.
All right.
And he's at he's at LSU right now, or he's committed to LSU.
He's committed to LSU. Yeah. The thing is that like a couple of his teammates from Belleville, like he and a teammate or two from Belleville, are currently committed to LSU. But one of the wide receiver that is committed to LSU, that's friends with Bryce Underwood, just visited Michigan, and I guess is making noise that he's going to be flipping his commitment. And if he flips his commitment, then it's pretty likely that Bryce Underwood will flip his commitment as well. And from what I understand, there are a lot of insiders at Michigan saying that it's already a done deal.
Wow. Yeah. It's been kind of wild what Sharon Moore and the guys are doing with recruiting right now.
Yeah.
You would think that in a down year, they wouldn't be able to do that, but it seems like they've been kicking it really, or killing it in the recruiting trail.
And is that because they're presenting the recruits with a proof of concept? Like they know what they need now, and so they can move forward and say like, okay, this is the vision and this is how we're going to win a championship, or are they just dropping bags? And if all they're doing is dropping bags, then it's unsustainable, and it's going to be another 8-4, 6-6 season next year, and Sharon Moore will get fired.
Right. And as we were saying, the raw talent needs good coaching. We got to make sure we got that in place.
Right. Yeah.
Moose says Brady Hart is a dog, but he's no Bryce Underwood. Yeah, Brady Hart's been the one that we've been talking about for quite a bit.
Yeah. So Michigan's actually got a couple of really good quarterbacks coming into the class. I mean, with Jaden Davis already on campus and learning, and then Brady Hart. Sorry, I just saw Moose's latest chat. I don't know what that. I'm not sure what that's. Oh. LSU's offensive coordinator took the job at ECU. Yeah. So Bryce Underwood is that. Yeah. Okay. That is huge. So that might mean that Underwood is going to be committing to Michigan here soon.
Okay.
So that could be huge. Yeah.
Yeah, Moose is using the word generational. I don't know, Moose, if you heard what Justin was saying, that we're throwing generational around too much, but
yeah, apparently you can't say the word generational.
Well, I think he's right though. That or Justin's right that we use the word too much. It's kind of like when we call everything awesome, or it just sort of loses its meaning after a while.
I mean, he's not wrong, but I'll say this: if Harbaugh wins a Super Bowl, then he is a generational coach. I mean, because there's only like 3 total coaches, I think, that have won both a national championship and a Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah.
2 or 3. It's single digits for sure.
Jackson says Iowa UCLA is a good one. I'm not sure what he's talking about there.
Good game, maybe?
Good game, yeah.
Justin Adams, clearly.
You always say when I'm trying.
Well, he didn't.
Maybe he didn't. I don't know why he would.
He didn't say that you can't say generational in reference to Bryce Underwood. He said that you can't say generational in reference to Jim Harbaugh.
Well, and he was also saying that we're overusing the word generational.
And yeah, just in general, you overusing the word generational. Also, I want to put this out there. You want to talk about a generational performance. I think Dusty May is doing something with the Michigan basketball team. Michigan just opened the basketball season with a 101-53 win over Cleveland State. Now I get it's Cleveland State, but 101-53? Jeez.
Moose says he's been to 2 live Belleville games this year, and the kid is incredible.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
I want to go to high school football games more often. They're actually a lot of fun.
Some of them are. Some of them not so much.
That's true. Yeah.
But why don't we call it there for the night? This has been a great show. Thanks to everybody for being on. Garrison, Peter, Rob, Justin, Ben, all great guys. Love to have them on the show. Make sure you check out their stuff. We've got their links in the show notes, so you can check out their channels, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. If you like college football, those guys are worth watching.
Yes.
Don't forget to check out the teamrivalry.com website, where we do have stats for the Big Ten games. We have the Pigskin Showdown on there, which you can still sign up for and do some weekly leaderboards. You call the games, you make your picks, and we have the weekly leaderboards going on, so you can challenge your friends to those games there like we do here on this show. Also, check out the Michigan Football Channel at the Voice of College Football. You can see our show, Point a Minute. Tomorrow morning will be the next episode at 9 a.m. We're going to talk about, what did we talk about in that video? Which coordinators should be fired. It was Warren Davis. It's getting late. Was Davis Warren underused? And what does the future of NIL look like at Michigan? What are they going to do there? That's what we're talking about on our Point a Minute show tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. on Michigan Football at the Voice of College Football. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We have, since we hit 1,000 a couple of weeks ago, we are now at 1,050, which is really cool. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing and watching. Really appreciate it. We love to talk about football. We love to have guys on that love to talk about football. We like to make football fun. We're not here to attack each other. We're here to encourage each other, as Bo Schembechler used to say.
Make football fun again.
And we have a lot of fun doing it. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for subscribing. And I think that's going to about do it. We will be back next Monday night at 8 p.m. right here live. Special episodes will come out once in a while. I don't know when next time we're going to do a watch party. We were talking about that. We might have to schedule another one of those. We haven't figured that out yet, though.
Indiana, Ohio State.
That might be a good one. Yeah, we may have to do that. And we should get Justin on to do that with us.
Yeah, we should. So that when Indiana wins, I can tell them to suck it directly and in person.
I would ask Garrison, Peter, and Rob, but I'm betting they're going to be glued to their TVs watching that game.
That's fair.
I think that's about it. Mac, you got anything you want to
add? Indiana's going to beat Ohio State and win the Big Ten. That's about all I got.
All right. Moose says Michigan looks good. I agree.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I think that's going to do it. Then thanks, everybody, for watching. Mac, take us out.
This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.